guys can't hear me. Give me like 25 seconds here. Give me like 10 more seconds. Oh man, this thing. Can we turn this up a little bit so I don't have to like turn my head into it? Can you like, how about now? Test. Hey, there you go. Yeah, I'll talk to you later. You're doing a good job. Oh man, okay. Can we reset the clock so I have another minute extra, please? Thank you. There we go. Okay, hey, I wanted to start sitting down anyway. Guys, pat yourselves on the back right now, okay? Let's do it. Come on. Everybody, I'm not gonna let you stop until I see everybody doing it. Let's pat ourselves on the back. There we go. You two, you're patting each other. That's cheating. You couldn't keep your hands off her, could you? Yeah. Hey, I don't blame you. She is a cutie. Hey guys, that pat on the back right there is for saving the world. I'm looking at young minds right now. You guys are all intelligent. I know that you did good in school. I didn't do that. You especially. You're very smart. Look at us. We're the machine that keeps the world going, okay? I'd like to start this talk off with a parable, a story, if you will. I was at a college, a second tier, not an Ivy League school, a second choice school. And I was in a class, and there was a student in that class, okay? And the teacher, he was spouting some horrible nonsense about how it was something about how women's rights are not legitimate, something that everybody knew was false. But if anybody had spoken up, he would have taken extreme joy in failing them. Okay, nobody spoke up. One person raised his voice. One person started talking. The teacher couldn't believe it. The classroom couldn't believe it either. But in the end, he had logic on his side. And at the end of the day, he proved his point. That student was Albert Einstein. And that same sense of childlike play and innocence that we know from Albert Einstein, I can sense it in this room today. TEDx, Drexel University, Next X. So you got to be thinking to yourselves right now, who's this 22-year-old kid up on stage with a chip on his shoulder and his heart on his sleeve and the world in his eyes? Well, that's a tough question, asking somebody to define who they are. I much prefer to ask, what inspires that person? What inspires you? What inspires you? What inspires you? I want an answer. What inspires you? You better find something, man. Don't worry about it. Possibilities. What inspires me is teaching African refugees how to program JavaScript. What inspires me is finding out how to use maglev trains to get resources to the moon. These are the challenges that tomorrow's going to face, okay? How are we going to get clean drinking water to 2 billion Chinese people? You got an answer? Get inspired. I'm going to be picking on you. The second thing that inspires me are ideas. Ideas are amazing. Ideas are like currency. Ideas are what drives the world. Ideas are what we need to get to the next stage. And not just great inventions like the train, little things like this microphone that enables me to speak to the unwashed masses. TED Talks. TED Talks are another great idea. Where would we be right now? And we have to talk about it because great ideas don't come in all shapes and sizes. 9/11, September 11th. And we're going to use some reverence here and not be silly about this, but look at what they accomplished with no weapons and just 11 guys who didn't even speak English. And that proves that sometimes great ideas are actually horrible ideas. So, I'm Sam Hyde. I'm an important thinker. I'm a creator, innovator, artist, idea. But above all else, I'm a passionate, childlike innovator. I've been all around the globe. I've been all around the globe working on cutting-edge projects of all kinds. And I'm here to ask you one question. Where are we at? Where are we? We've got all this great technology. We've got 7 billion people in the world. And according to UN projections, it's going to go up to 50 billion people. That's a lot of mouths to feed. And I don't think they're going to be able to feed themselves. So we better start coming up with some robots to bridge that gap. The West's sick addiction to fossil fuel is going to make this planet uninhabitable for the future generations. You'll know what I'm talking about if you've seen the movie An Inconvenient Truth. It's essentially what's going on is we're too selfish and we're driving our cars too much. And that's getting nature out of the picture. Now, we looked at the data. And what we found surprised us. What we found, right there, what we found was that culture is a sewer. We've got lewd media. We've got nasty bedroom things on TV. And they're sexualizing young girls, and it's getting to the point where even I have a problem with it. And it shouldn't be that way. Folks, we're all world citizens. We're all world citizens. There we go. We're all world citizens living together with one social contract, one economic future. We're all tied together. There's no more individual anymore. It's just the hive. So we have to stick together. We have to stick together and learn how to share. We have to learn how to share. Now, studies show that we work hard. It's true. Everybody in this room is a hard worker. You're a hard worker. You're a hard worker. You're a hard worker. I know because you're here. Okay? But studies show that we don't play hard enough. We got to play harder. It's because it's that sense of childlike playing that's going to save us in the end. Albert Einstein. But hunger, poverty. Okay, we're on this right now. Can you control the slides? Get on the right slide. Go ahead. It's fine. There we go. Trash economy. Go back. Okay. I was in Rwanda. I was with a little startup you may have heard of, Tesla. Okay? Elon Musk was there, a team of innovators, artists, creators, ideas, thinkers. We were there. And we were giving iPads to this village of Africans. And it was so freaky because, they're so intuitive. You just doop, swipe it, and it works. But these guys, we gave them like 2-hour tutorials, and they couldn't figure out how to use the freaking things. The problem is us. The people in this room right now, the solution is us. The problem is greedy corporations. We do things that matter. New York Times. I'll just skip ahead here. By my calculations, we have 5 years until the world ends. Unless we can start to reverse things like pollution and war. Pollution, war, these are big problems. Fix it now! Close your eyes. Everybody in this room, close your eyes. I'm not going to do anything weird or sensual with you. Close your eyes. We're going to change some minds right now. Everybody close your eyes. Okay, close them. Seal them up. Seal them up good. You, especially you. I want those eyes closed. Get on it. Make sure your friend has their eyes closed too. Now look, this is a pivotal moment in human history. Right now, in this room, Drexel University, TEDx, NextX. This is the time to be doing this. Take this moment in, breathe deeply, okay? Neurons are firing in your brain right now. You're more alert. You're astrally projecting. You're getting a little bit high on the sound of my voice. I have a nice timbre to it. I know that I'm a good public speaker. You're drinking bulletproof coffee. And you don't even realize you're getting all jagged up in the head listening to my presentation. You're going to remember this forever. 2070, future, now. What? 2070 predictions. The next 50 years are going to be some serious stuff. Seafloor farming. 75% of the world's surface not being used by agriculture. On the sea floor, you're gonna have sea beets, sea yams, sea cabbage. Have you ever had a sea salad? Have you ever had sea cheesy baked potatoes that blew your socks off? Because you're gonna be. 2070 coming up. Trash economy, the abundance of trash. What are we gonna do with it? Are we gonna put it on an island? Are we gonna make it somebody else's problem? Or are we gonna take the initiative and take this problem by the horns? Trash economy. You use cubes of trash as money. Everybody becomes rich. It's a gold rush. Walk with me. Most of the major cities will be replaced with vast pleasure domes used exclusively by the Excelsiites, who are the neo-upper class, while the displaced hordes of lower-class depth grovelers will live underground in tiered cities, endlessly toiling away for nuggets of neoplasmin. Video games are going to get more realistic. Super fuel-efficient vehicles getting 80, 100 miles per gallon, it's not that crazy. You think I'm nuts right now because I'm suggesting something high-tech like that? Flip side of that coin, gas, $10 a gallon. You can't win them all, but we can make do because we're going to have solar power also. Race riots, extreme racial tension and unrest. It's called the knockout game, and eventually white people are going to get tired of playing it. That's all I'm saying. I'll skip that one. We have 2 minutes left? Okay. Playing games with me, huh? Can we get the original 18 minutes back on here? You caught me. I'm unprepared. Now, 2070, due to the massive birth increase, we're going to have a shortage of milk. What this means is the Neo-Earth Good Government League is going to have to genetically modify all humans, male and female, to lactate once a month. Once every month, you're going to be going to a lactation processing center where they'll hook you up to all kinds of weird things. Now, due to some fluke, about 3% of the population produces milk, about 500% as much milk. So they're going to have to be farmed constantly, and it's very painful. But they're going to be rounded up by FEMA, and their milk will serve the greater good. Guys, what's the one problem right now that's not going to be around in 2070? The elderly and the disabled. Because we're just going to kill them. We're just going to kill them. So we looked at the data. We got robots policing the streets. 2070, we got gay marriage. Surprise, surprise, bigots, okay? Sorry, in 2070, gay people are going to be allowed to get married. Get used to it. Make me sick sometimes. SodaStream will do for soda what 3D printing did for assault rifles. And I think you're going to be seeing a whole lot more of these great Apple products. The iMac. You're probably thinking this is some pretty deep stuff, and you're right. State-enforced homosexuality. I don't have a problem with that. It's equal. Facebook as your birth certificate. Mac iPads built into every school desk for every child. 3D printers are kids' toys, and the newest 3D printer, your kid is going to be printing up 3D Muslim Barbie dolls. 2070, gay men have actually developed reproductive organs inside of their area, and a new generation of children are born from inside gay men. What else we got here? Good luck searching for Al-Qaeda on the internet in 2070. You'd have better luck going next door and asking them in person. What else we got here? You are not going to like that one. Nobody's going to like that one. Let's do this here. Can we get one final pat on the back, everybody? Pat yourselves on the back. Please do it. You are going to be the future. That's a good thing. You're going places, kid. You're going, man, we're so screwed. 2070, Israel, straight up ripped off the map. Bye! Bye, bye! Bye! Not my choice. It's probably what's going to happen. Okay. Anybody else have any predictions? What do you think's gonna happen? Now it's time for you, because you are the you plural is the star, like YouTube here, like the Time magazine cover. You guys are the star. I'm just some crazy guy. I'm not cool. What predictions do you have? 2070. Make a real one. Let's have something real here. You don't know that. I'm gonna have your mind uploaded to my BlackBerry. You'll be here. You'll be cryogenically frozen. I know it. Anybody have any predictions? What do you think is going to happen in 2070?
I think it's going to be better than what we have right now.
I think there can't possibly be anything worse than what we have right now.
Which implies it's going to be better.
Hey, man.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me here.
Thank you.
What do you want me to walk through here?
Right here.
Okay.
We have a question right here. Okay.
This is for Mr. Hyde. Obviously, your presentation made a big impact on all of us, but I'd like to know what messages that you'd like us to take away from that exactly.
Don't mind all that. That's just Windows being Windows. Alrighty. Let's get it set up. These next 5 minutes are going to be us setting up. Alrighty. Now we can get the rest of the audio in. Excellent. Alrighty. We had an interesting day today. Got a car wash. Fortunately, my dad's not feeling too good. Stomach's a little upset. It's what happens when you try some new frozen custard place and you haven't quite figured out where that milk comes from. Gotta be careful. You see, people were freaking out a lot about the xenoestrogen in soy, but it was timed perfectly so that all the people that avoided soy, while that meme was being propagated, they avoided the Roundup Ready soy that was patented in 2014. 2014 being the real apocalypse, not 2012. And the various types of adulterants in vegetables don't synchronize to the human system quite as much as animal adulteration. So that's ultimately what it boils down to. Go find your local butcher. Go find a reputable source of milk and cheese. Otherwise, you're going to end up very, very sick. Hold on, let's transfer over for a second.
In my heart,
Well, you're just talking like a Mongoloid.
I don't give a fuck. I am a Mongoloid. In my heart, I'm a Mongoloid. That is what I am. We are a horde. That is what we are. Yes, we are that. We are 100% that.
That's not something to be proud of.
It is something to be proud of, because the Mongols are the ones who created civilization. And you created nothing but barbarism. You're the fucking barbarians. You destroyed the treasures of mankind. The Mongols only united it. What the fuck do you know about civilization? What the fuck do you know about pride? What the fuck do you have to be proud of? Except looting, genociding, and destroying the cultures and peoples and wealth of this world. What the fuck do you know, Cans Cuck?
Well, you're the one here chimping out, so...
I am chipping out, bitch, because I'm a fucking human being. And you're a little soy boy cuck, little bitch. You don't know who the fuck I am.
No, I see you. I think you're a Mongoloid. That's what you...
I am a Mongoloid, you're right. It is what I am, and I'm proud of being that.
Well, it's an anthropological term. It doesn't actually
Okay,
mean Mongol
oh,
or
so what's your
Mongol.
fucking point? You ugly, disgusting, fucking ugly, disgusting, fucking barbarian, smelly piece of shit. You want to talk racism? I can be way more racist than you, Angloid. What fucking civilizations did Angloids ever fucking have? It needed the Romans to fuck all of you in your ass to give you any civilization. You never had any of your own. You want to be racist? I could be way more racist. You want to talk shit about Asians? What the fuck do you have on Asia, huh?
I have nothing on it.
You have nothing, because you're a Can's cuck, bitch.
It's majestical. This is how the Japanese do a controlled demolition. They remove a building floor by floor, slowly. It's majestic almost. And then you look at the United States model of controlled demolition. It's so messy. It's so unnecessary. There's a pyroclastic flow that moves through the city. There's smoke and dust everywhere. It causes absolute chaos. Personally, I think we should make the move over to a more Japanese style controlled demolition.
Hell yeah. What's up, dude? Appreciate you being here like right on time, man. That makes me feel confident. Let's go. Yeah, I know. I've struggled with that sometimes. I was just like, why can't I be like 20 minutes late? Because they have plans for you and that it commences. And if you're not there to synchronize to those plans, they have backup plans that you're not part of. I know I quiet quit so many jobs, man. I was such a piece of shit back in the day about that. How you been? How you doing? When has it not been a hectic week in the last like fucking month or so? Mm-hmm. Yep. That's 2020 though. That's when you look at the charts. That's when all the people started to embrace religion. That's when society started to heal. Nature healed. Because people stopped and they thought about things for a little while. Yep. And you know what? You're seeing that's my main criticism of Nicholas J. Fuentes is that he does not spend enough time in church. And if he did spend a lot of time in church, he would have more of a like patient, calm, moderate sort of, but then he wouldn't be as popular. People love the internet blood sports. People love the quips. What do they call it? Snark, I suppose. People love that. Yeah, but we're unk and chopped. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not one to talk though, personally. Yeah, it is what it is, man. I see him trying. Yes, exactly. That's kind of the point. Is
kind of what Joe Kent's doing with Tucker Carlson. I'm not saying that his evaluation of it's wrong, but it's like his first instinct is to go on the attack because Joe Kent slighted him one time.
hmm. Oh, bro, I hate to interrupt your point, but like I just didn't record all of the audio for the last like 3 minutes. I am so sorry for all my audience. You didn't really miss much. What we're talking about is Nick Fuentes and Zyklon brought up the Joe Kent thing and how like Joe Kent is a really, really like honest, down to earth sort of guy who is perfectly conservative and perfectly in line with Nicholas Fuentes. But just because he slighted him one time, he decided to pull out the snark guns, which is just like that's not constructive, bro.
Yeah, so it's things like that. Just what it leads me to think about Nick is he's just really just not mature. In all these years he's been online doing this, he hasn't finished maturing.
Hmm. Isn't that kind of the thing with his particular sexuality from the rumors, though? Is that like he wants to stay in that, what do they call it, twink zone forever? What's Peter
Yeah,
Pan
and
syndrome?
I think it's part of his like Zoomer appeal too, because I think Zoomers are so irony pilled, like they kind of like the kind of like non-maturity aspects. I mean, everybody from Mr. Beast to like I Show Speed, or is like I
I
Show
like that.
Speed,
Yeah, it's
whatever
I
the
Show
fuck
Speed.
that
I
dude
like that
is.
guy. He's fun. He's got a good energy to him.
But all of them are just like immature.
Yeah. And there's a way of
It's
doing it.
like the
There's a way of expressing
what?
immense vitality without coming off as mature. Ask skaters. Ask skaters.
So I think that's like the one thing like a lot of them lack. I don't know. I don't know what it spells for the future of that generation exactly.
You know what? They're our responsibility at the end of the day. Um, I hear a
Uh,
lot of criticism coming millennials' ways that I did not actually hear for the longest period of time, and it's just like, no, 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 no. At the end of the day, all of these generations are fake. All of these cultures, subcultures, like whether it's punk, goth, metal, hip hop, all of them have ended up being used to drive us against each other. So why shouldn't we apply these fake generational terms that are generated by the media and generated by subculture and culture and all the shit that people are trying to sell us? Why shouldn't we just discard those as ways of subdividing us and say we're Americans? It doesn't matter what age you are. Speaking of which, I like got into a big fight with Dave, and I hope he comes on here so we can actually debate with a little bit of fire and a little bit of vigor what he's talking about,
what
because
did
I
you
just
do to
keep
Dave?
Dave, you know Devious Dave, yeah, Tomato Man.
Yeah.
Freaking, he just decides to, like, especially over the last 2 weeks. I suppose he's not taking rising gas prices well. Maybe he's not dialed into like how the shuffling of the chessboard that's going on right now actually benefits Americans immensely. Even if, as you said, the American empire will die, the USA will remain. That's what you said, right?
Yeah.
Yes, that is absolute. That's perfect, spot on. I guess he's getting a little upset, and he's been lashing out a bunch of various things. And I'm just trying to tell him, like, look, man, you can criticize everybody else till the cows come home. Ultimately, we got to be responsible for what is in our hand right now. And I've been talking about this a lot for the
Well,
last week. Is the devil isn't our worst enemy? It's actually sin. That means we're our own worst enemy. We're the only ones that opens the door to let the vampires in.
I mean, for a lot of this stuff, like it's outside of our control. Like unless we're actually in DC making decisions, nothing we can do about it. Which I feel like sometimes when people say that's a cop-out answer, I don't mean it to be a cop-out answer, but what I'm saying is you can be informed about it, you can be paying attention to it. Don't let it rule your life. and don't get too bogged down in it.
Yeah.
You still have to focus in your local community because that's where you currently have influence. If
Well,
you get elected to Congress or the Senate, or you're like in some like subcommittee in DC on some kind of like board, like, all right, that's your time to go on US politics as a whole and federal politics.
but what if your congressman is Randy Fine? Like this shit just pops out of nowhere, and all of a sudden, your congressman and your family is wrapped up in Teflon, calling for a genocide. It's like one of apparently the most favored sons of
Yeah, but
the
I
War
was kind of
Master.
surprised. I posted about this earlier. Randy Fine, he posted a video of John Thune, like literally like with his entourage, like leaving DC.
Yep.
Right after their midnight passing of TSA funding without ICE funding.
TSA funding? Not DHS, but
Yeah,
wait, is that is
well,
that DHS?
I think it's They basically, the GOP capitulated to the Democrats. They gave, I think it's DHS funding, but they left in the provisions of Democrats, basically like there's still no ICE funding.
I want both of those to be defunded. Why? Because the airport used to be handled by a completely separate authority, and it was really, really good and really, really smooth, and people didn't get raped all the time, like hand raped all the time. And Customs and Border Patrol was actually more successful at keeping the immigration numbers low than ICE, which is effectively, if you look at it and how it operates, a Gestapo that's building concentration camps in mass. And then Greg Balvino comes out and says he wants to deport 100 million people. It's just like, dude, there's 20 million max immigrants in this entire country. Who the fuck are you talking about? And I ask people about this online. It's just like anybody who doesn't assimilate to the American culture. And I say, oh, so you're going to use Salvadorans, which is who they hire a lot of times, Salvadorans in ICE to deport citizens who were born in America who didn't quite assimilate to Western culture. Well, what the fuck does that mean?
Unless, unless he's talking specifically about the legal migration, the H-1B visas.
Well, we'd love it if it was H-1B visas, but they're going to be completely and utterly untouched always. That's the entire Jewish plan, is to...
Well, that's been the one thing about Trump that's been really depressing, is he will not tackle legal migration for all his
he made it worse.
Illegal migration. He's been a stalwart in making sure we bring in more H-1B visas from India than anybody else.
And when it comes to illegal immigration, he got cold feet as soon as the like hotel workers that worked at his hotels started to get knocks, on their doors. He got cold feet on all that. And it's just like, dude, those are jobs that should be paid legal wages by legal people so that they can go if they here's the thing. Trump loves to say, don't pay them, they did a bad job, we're not going to pay them. And it's like, dude, this is how you abuse immigrants. This is how people abuse immigrants, is they bring them in and then they stiff them, or they charge them slave labor and slave wages. And then who you gonna call? Who you gonna call for help? As soon as you call for help, you get thrown in Guantanamo or some shit. Like crazy shit, man. Like Alligator Alcatraz is really fucking scary. Like genuinely, like every single bunk, 2 people, has a cage around it. Every single one of them. And, like, if you've seen the insides of jails and prisons already, there are millions of people in this country that are in basically what you would consider to be concentration camp settings. And, like, good 30-40% of those people are in there for completely nonviolent reasons. And they're also around violent people, and they're around gangs, and they're around gang knowledge, and they're around people who are operating, like, with the guards and the judges and all that stuff. They're friends, because the gang itself has people all throughout, and it gives them special privileges and them a lot of food. And so people get recruited into gangs because they're hungry and they have nothing else to think about while they're in jail and prison. This is a reality that goes on and has gone on for decades and decades in this country. But like when you look at what ICE has done in the last 5 to 10 years. See, I was showing pictures of the stuff that AOC was crying about to my aunt, and it was just like, does this not look like Nazi stuff? And she's like, nah, she works at the Pentagon. I was like, okay, whatever. But recently, it's gotten even more insane. So personally, I'm actually worried about the universal human rights, as opposed to trying to scapegoat immigrants for the fact that all of our factories were moved to China. Like you could round up 100 million people. It's not going to fix the economy. You know.
No.
That was a big rant. I was a big rant, but I just had to get that off my chest because that's how I feel about this whole situation. I feel like my thoughts on this whole situation are elevated past they took her gerbs. You know, that South Park episode that's been running for 5 million years and actually
I
got
mean,
like 2 or 3 sequels.
the whole thing is like kind of like a tiered problem. Like I don't see the Hispanic immigrants as being inherently terrible.
Me
I think
neither.
a lot of them are somewhat decent people,
They're
except
the
for the
best
cartel
roof
ones.
makers. Oh yeah, fuck the cartel guys and the Tres de Agua guys. Those guys are a serious
I
plague.
do criticize them because their not work ethic, but their quality of work can be really slipping at times. Highlighted by those videos where they show wall studs not touching like the ceiling like joist.
Hmm.
They're really like they operate so quickly and so cheaply that they kind of don't do a decent job sometimes.
Yep. Even if it's twice as quick, it's half as good. You know.
And even like in my kind of like personal dealings, like a friend of mine, he had to get his roof redone because he had a Hispanic crew come into his roof with like a metal sheeting. And instead of like tearing up the existing roof, they just put the sheeting on top of the roof tiles. And it trapped moisture under there and it caused like a section of his roof to rot. And he had to get it redone and gutted. And it's like it's things like that that's like that's kind of like amateur hour mistakes that like any like construction worker, roofer, general contractor wouldn't be making, but they are.
Oh, let's see if I can get Judas. Let's see if I can get Judas in here. It's in DMs. See if we can get Judas in
Judas.
here. Yeah, like it's very hard to build fence. Excuse me. I always say fences because that's my thing. It's very, and it's not that hard. It's very hard, however, to build roofs in Florida in the summertime. And Mexicans are like uniquely built for that level of heat.
Yeah.
They
So I
really,
think
yeah.
the Hispanic immigrants have been not wholly detrimental. Some of the Cuban immigrants have been pretty decent. I cannot see an upside to any of the Somalian immigrants at all.
Not really, no.
They have, even with the recent thing that happened like in Minneapolis, the scams that were uncovered there, like they've proven to all be scammers.
I
They
had a
serve no purpose.
I had a very high opinion of Ilhan Omar. Judge me if you want, but at the end of the day, like she had a very good voting record based on the situation that I was looking. But like as I was talking to people about this recently, it breaks my heart. But she's got to go back. She cannot preside over that level of fraud and then be treated somehow differently than how we need to treat those Hasidic communities where they don't teach their children English and like they like straight up parasitize and funnel a tremendous amount of wealth into these segregated apartheid communities where they have their own police forces and their own vans and hospitals and all this stuff. Like all of that needs to get excised out of our country. And then if people want to live inside of the realm of our constitution, they can. Otherwise, like if they try to force that, if Somalian communities, Orthodox communities try to force like religious supremacy, what's going to end up happening is Christianity is going to come and declare itself supremacist in certain areas, and that's going to split our country from south to north between Protestant and Catholic. It's called the Gadsden Guadalupe split. It's a long thing. That's where the Gadsden flag comes from. Is pride over the people that fought the Spanish for the land in the south. It's a real come and take it sort of mentality.
Yeah, but I think the Catholic Protestant split is kind of baked in the cake with some people.
Oh, I mean, it's very interesting how the Gadsden flag is a snake, and like Mary is supposed to step on a snake, and the snake like talks. It's just like, well, how'd you guys get that idea? I always found that to be a little sus. A talking snake. I've never heard of that one before. Yeah, I love our Mother Mary, and I love our Protestant brothers. So, like you.
I think the only I like Catholics. The only problem I see is the kind of the ones you see on social media sometimes where they make grandiose statements like no Protestants are truly Christian. The only true Christians are Catholics.
And those same guys will say things that are completely anathema to Christ's teachings. It will. I've seen it. Like
It's
judging others.
That's why I say the split is kind of baked in the cake, because you always get those people who will kind of like always drive that wedge to ensure that there is no true kind of like Catholic Protestant like alliance or Reformation or joining. They'll always kind of like drive a stake in that if they keep like spouting off.
I mean, judging others is addictive. Judging yourself is hard. When you get addicted to judging yourself, regardless of, what other particular philosophies you have in your life, you're in the right place. You're in the right mindset.
But I've also seen it kind of in the Protestant sphere too, and as some things have happened like over the years, kind of like in my local community, like there's been attempts to try to get like all the pastors like in the surrounding counties together in one room. There was like one guy that he led like a kind of like a Pentecostal like Assemblies of God church in the area, and he tried to have a summit with 120 pastors from all the surrounding churches. And out of 120 invites that he personally sent out, only like 20 people showed up because the Baptists didn't want to work with the Pentecostal church, and the Presbyterians didn't want to show up, and the Lutherans didn't want to bother, and the Calvinists didn't want to be there. It's just like
the Calvinists were predestined
like 20,
not to
like,
go there.
Non-denominational churches that actually like showed up. So the only people that are willing to like swallow their pride and work together with anybody was people that didn't have a denominational claim.
That makes a lot of sense, because the Protestants are just like, I don't know, man. Jesus? Those are the ones that I found out to be the nicest. But the Calvinists,
right?
man,
Protestants,
anybody...
they have a problem with like unifying the bride of Christ. They're kind of off in their own little world, and they can't see a realm where they like actually work together with each other.
I think I made this point to you the other day when we were off the stream. It's just like, if you walk into a room, would you like to hear some nice background music that goes throughout like 2 hours of like the same sort of like mellow background music, like orchestra on the Titanic sort of stuff? Or would you like to hear something that changes like the song every minute to some different genre, and then another genre, and then another genre? Like, think about it on God's time. Say, some people have made this like 1,000 years is one day in God's time. Like, that's like hearing a new song every couple of seconds. And that's cacophony, and it's confusing, and it doesn't show something that is more than just human. It shows something very human, like ants would be to us. Instead of the works of like generation upon generation upon generation of how the ants have terraformed a particular area. Instead, it's just one little pile, I suppose. And that's kind of the way that Protestants fell from the tradition. And then you have Lutherans, and then you have some high Anglicans, the Oxford School, and you have some Apostolic Protestants, and you have some some good evangelicals. It's hard to find, but you have some good evangelicals that keep it alive. And then you have the Black Protestants that feel like they have a type of religion that's almost ancient, like almost the Ethiopian Orthodox. That's what they almost feel like. But the Calvinists, to get on the Calvinists, the freaking Calvinists, if the Calvinists understand, if the Calvinists understand what John Calvin actually taught, they're insane if they still call themselves Calvinists. Absolutely insane. That was some shit for like 200 years ago that ended about 80 years ago. Like, straight up, man. Like, the whole, you were born a certain race because God loves you crap. That's exactly what the Calvinists believe, is like, you were born with white skin, and this is perfectly embodied in the Mormons. You're born with white skin because God loves you, and if God didn't love you, he'd curse your skin like the Native Americans to be red. How could you possibly believe something like that when you have germ theory? But I don't understand.
I don't know. The Mormons are their own special weirdness.
Well, let's not fight over what interpretation of the Bible is correct, because here's something. Numbers 5 says that if a woman cheats on her spouse, she is to drink bitter water. Bitter water is a very strange thing. It's actually the dust on the floor of the tabernacle mixed up with a cursed scroll. Yeah. And then they put it into a potion, and she drinks the potion. This is essentially like the priests meet behind closed doors, and they determine whether or not the baby should, like, they find out who did it, and what would be the implications. They think about it, and then they determine whether or not to give the woman an abortifacient or just some colored water or something like that. And it's supposed to be like the sin is determined by God, and then the baby is aborted if it is sinful and stuff like that. But we know that that's absolute insanity. But it's still in the Christian Bible. It's in the Old Testament. There's tons of stuff in the Old Testament that's insane and evil and like genocidal and monstrous. But we fight over what interpretation of it. How about just focusing on the Gospels, which are all four? Hey, Judas, which are all four aligned by themselves, like. Cold Case Christianity is an interesting YouTube channel that goes over how the Gospels like confirm each other by different accounts of the same thing, and that's really what we need to focus.
I've always found that section of Numbers kind of strange because it's the only time that the Bible seems to like talk directly about abortion, and it's basically saying like, yeah, abortion's okay if the mother's been engaged in infidelity.
That's where the Talmudic interpretation of it is. Since Judas
Whereas,
is here,
like when you get to like modern kind of like feminist ideology, it's like no, women can't be bridled at all. You can't ever punish a woman for like cheating on her husband.
well, since Judas is here, I wanted to tell you something I might have told you before that I didn't tell Judas is. My dad went to a foot doctor called we'll call him Dr. Sneedowitz. And Dr. Sneedowitz was kept on trying to cut into my dad's foot over and over and over and over again. When he debrided my dad's foot, which I can do expertly with a black light by determining what needs to be debrided, when he debrided my dad's foot, it like carved a horrific gouge into it. Like it's part of his foot that's going to take a little bit longer to heal. Well, Dr. Sneedowitz also said, he had like Stars of David and Happy Hanukkah stuff around the office on December, and I was just like, oh, that's cool, that's fine, I like that. He says, Judas, will you get in here, man? He's requested like 3 times. I gotta figure this out. But he actually said that a 3-year-old can undergo liposuction, and that like stuck in my craw because I was like, what the hell does that mean? Let's get Judas in here as a co-host.
Liposuction is like a fat removal procedure?
Yeah. Because apparently liposuction actually unironically destroys the fat cells. Your fat cells aren't put on you. Your fat cells either shrink or grow. Yeah, individually.
You always have the same number of fat cells, just
Yes.
that they swell
Yep.
when you like intake too many calories and
Yes,
store them.
exactly. So when you get liposuction or a BBL, you literally transport dead tissue around. It's dead and it rots inside you. It's called BBL smell. What's up, Judas?
Okay, here I am.
We're talking about BBL smell.
Let me ask you a question, Nate, real quick.
What up, bro?
Your cooking streams.
Yeah.
Why are they silent?
Me? I was on a vow of silence when I first started my cooking stream, so I just decided that might be a good little flow for the cooking streams, is just keeping the mouth zipped.
I mean, cooking streams, Nate. You have to tell people the ingredients. You're just standing there in silence. I mean, I appreciate it. It's good. It's good content, but you gotta express what you're cooking.
I didn't cook the Transalpine Corco right. It ended up way too watery. It's supposed to seal up really nice. And when you have turmeric and you have butter and you have pepper, you need to put the turmeric into something fat soluble, and then the piperazine in the pepper makes it 2,000% more active in your body. And then it's just like a cure-all. It's good for anxiety. It's good for depression. It's good for inflammation. It saved my knee and my back. Like I was limping everywhere for a while. I could barely walk. And then I got some turmeric in me. It was a rough winter, man. I missed you, man. It was a rough winter.
Look, you may say a cooking stream being silent is terrible. I've seen some of these modern cooking videos, like the women with the long nails, where they have to tap everything that they're about to add to the bowl. It is so grating. I would rather it be silent.
Yeah. I hate the tapping. I really, really, really do. It's an ASMR thing. It's when you watch too many
We know
ASMR
you're
videos.
wearing nails. We get it. Can you just not?
It's an
You
ASMR
don't
thing.
even
It's an
tap
addiction.
the olive oil before you pour it.
Well, what's up, Judas? How you been, man? Been too long since you've been on the Moversation. Or actually, we're Cow Talk. It's been too long since I've been on Moversation.
Yeah, I haven't hosted one. You've been really hard to get a hold of, Nate. You've been doing all these streams.
Yeah. Well, as you can see, look at society. Like, I am very much in touch with the aether. So when stuff starts to get really violent, I myself respond to it. And the start of Lent,
Is
I
that
start.
why you? I'm sorry, but you were cutting stuff in your yard. Is that why you were exerting that kind of force on the foliage outside?
Oh, that's nothing, man. I really got to get into a real, like, it was started the rain. It started the rain on that. I really got to get into more IRL streams because guess what? Podcasts is so 2020 late. IRL streaming's
Yeah,
where it's at.
IRL streams are.
Yeah.
I've been telling you for months, Nate. Yeah, you will
Yeah.
get thousands of views.
No, you're right. We got to do that.
Yeah, I've been trying to get you to IRL stream for a while. So I'm telling Nate, you're gonna be famous. You're very popular right now. You have a lot of goodwill built up with people.
Well,
You're
I
gonna be
love my
very
fans, but
popular.
more importantly, I love Dave, and I hope Dave shakes off his melodrama patheticism and comes
You need to
and
make it
fights
with
me with Oxus. You're
Why
gonna
were you
make what?
yelling at Dave?
I'll talk about that later. What were you gonna say? Nothing, I suppose. Ha ha. Well, uh, yeah. I mean, it was weeks building. As I was telling Zyklon that it really, he's been responding. Dave has been responding to the things going on very negatively. Um,
Which stinks.
I think it's the war, very specifically, and the rising gas prices, more specifically. The specific point is the rising gas prices and whatever he's seeing that's telling him it's so over. When we're so back. We are so back. Like the evil empire is being destroyed before our eyes because Trump is literally, through his idiocy, glorifying God's justice. You can either glorify God's mercy by being a good person or glorify God's justice by being a bad person. And Trump is doing what I voted for him to do, which is dismantle the evil empire.
You voted Trump to destroy it to protect Israel? I'm
No,
confused.
opposite. And that's exactly what he's not capable of doing, is protecting Israel like somebody like DeSantis would have been able to do. Saying all the right things, making all the right alliances, never taking your own personal like wealth over, the diplomatic long-term allegiance to Israel and stuff like that. Quite frankly, even Joe Biden was significantly better at protecting Israel. Significantly. In fact, Joe Biden was so servile towards Israel. Israel had convinced itself in 2023 that they got this. They don't even need to run propaganda anymore. They can just blitz. And just like the Nazis, that lack of appropriate setting the ground for what was to come in the future ended up like everything fall out, and they're in a quagmire right now. Like Israel's getting destroyed. I'm not over exaggerating. I'm not wish casting. I'm not blue skying. Israel is getting destroyed. The northern parts of Israel are being depopulated right now. Straight up, entire cities that have sat there for 70 years are being destroyed.
Okay, Nate, let me ask you something. You said after Lent you're gonna ramp up your streams. What do you mean by that? Are you gonna start streaming daily?
I think so. I really want to get back into season 2 above the bell curve. I have like multiple notes. I've got like 6 pages of
Season
notes.
two. So you already have no. Okay, so you great game plan. Season two, brilliant.
Season 2.
Secondly,
Yes.
when are the IRL streams coming? Because people have been clamoring for them. You had a stream that you privated where you were walking down like the street at night, and then you were just walking, and then you deleted it.
It's not
Any reason
deleted.
for
It's
that?
it's private because there's nothing really of value there, and it automatically goes private until I set it to public. That's what all the streams do on my channel. I'm not exactly sure how to change that preset. I'm sure that it's probably easy to do. I'm not good at computer, but there's nothing really of value in that stream. It was more of testing things out, seeing how the audio visual would work, seeing how the lag would work. Can I walk around the neighborhood and get a good stream? Yes, I can. That means I can walk outside of the neighborhood and get a good stream. Like I'm the neighborhood watch, so that's my turf. But if I go off of my turf, maybe we can get something a little bit more exciting.
Suggestion:
Yeah.
you should do neighborhood watch streams.
Yeah. That'd be great. Really,
I'm
people when they see a
I'm dead
camera,
serious.
when they see a camera, they're way less likely to fuck around.
Exactly, and you can set a certain type of authority around the cul-de-sac. I
Respect
think
my authority.
it's a win-win. Yeah, it's a win-win situation. I'm serious. I think a neighborhood watch stream would be fantastic. You already garnered almost like 600 views on your second cooking stream. You're like very popular right now.
I was only like 310, but thank you, Judas. I appreciate you.
I mean, combined with the other one, you're garnering views, Nate. I'm serious.
I mean, it'd be nice. It'd be nice if I could cook something like actually impressive instead of just chopping a whole bunch of stuff, which
Yeah,
is always fun to watch.
cook a steak.
Everybody was just like, "Is he gonna cut off his finger?" And I'm just, "No, I'm actually really good at dexterity and stuff like that."
No, people want to see you make spaghetti or something, Nate, and with you talking throughout, saying this is celery, this is carrots, this is like an eighth of a soy sauce, something.
That sounds like the worst spaghetti ever.
Yeah, I know, but just in general, I'm just trying to offer suggestions. We want you to get popular.
Thanks, man. Likewise, dude. Like your audio is getting a little bit better. I'm not exactly sure what you're doing with your microphone. And the quality of your streams and your ability to keep that train of thought is getting better. Instead of going, well, I don't know, I'm
Yeah.
not confident with myself. No, man, you have every right to be confident with yourself because you've been doing it for a while. You're comfortable with it, and people want to watch you, and people want to listen to what you have to say, and people want to see you interviewing those interesting people that you pick up out of the internet.
Yes, people do want more interviews and people do want more streams. I've just been very shy recently.
It's all good.
So, Judas, where are these people clamoring for this Nate content?
On this Nate content on the Kiwi Farms, he is very popular amongst the general chat.
The infamous KiwiFarms.st.
Well, actually, most of my
Yes.
friends are from that demographic. I think that's the largest demographic block in my friends is Kiwis.
Is he ever getting the .net subdomain back?
It's Seotome Princep. Always. Were you ever on what was it? Chud Buds or Post?
I have been on posts actually.
Yeah, Graph's fucking crazy.
What's your opinion on Graph actually since you brought him up?
Sad. It's sad because you see a really intelligent person with a lot of potential who drinks a lot and hangs out with a lot of suspect people, and then he ends up going crazy and saying crazy things. But like
Have
Graph
you ever
really
specifically spoken to Graph? Because
No.
he's actually talked to me once. Yeah.
he seems very capable. He seems like he's a very, very capable person.
No, he's abundantly Canadian, so he's kind of retarded in my opinion.
Oh, that's a bad handicap. What about you, Zyklon?
Yeah,
Have you
Canadian.
ever gone to Chud Buds or Post?
No, I have not.
You missed the
I was on
Plyroma days.
post like when it was like kind of popular. I joined for like 3 hours and then I was like, I hate this place because I don't trust Graph. Graph is not a person in which he's like trustworthy. So it's hard to have a community in which your leader is someone that literally will be a Judas and stab you in the back. So
I
I
mean, you
wouldn't
know,
recommend using post.
I was briefly on the Kiwi Farms Fediverse node until I left that.
QFarms.cc, yeah.
Nate, were you on the Kiwi Farms Fediverse?
Yes, I love Crunk Lord. I think he's a very intelligent person who does a lot of good stuff.
Okay, question: are you gonna finish your tier list? Because that's another thing. You've done 2 parts and you still haven't finished your Kiwi Farms tier list.
A lot of those I couldn't remember who those pictures at the very bottom that was left went to, and then
Then
my
you can-
computer crashed. But yeah, I could actually put more names
Okay.
into that.
Not even that put more names into it. It's just you started it. People want to see how you finish because you had a lot of names there,
That's fun.
and people really were like. Some people noticed their old profile pictures, like, "Oh my god, where was Nate gonna rate me?" And you never finished rating people.
Oh no! Yeah, that's the problem. Is like when people change their profile pictures a lot. Sometimes it's hard to like, you know.
Believe me, like Sicko noticed his old profile picture, and he's been waiting for a rating.
No, Sicko gets he gets Semper Fi. Semper Fi, Sicko. Semper Fi, Semper Fi, Semper Fi. If he didn't get Semper Fi before Cobes died, he got Semper Fi before Cobes died for being the most respectful, the most perfect troll, and like genuinely Cobes would have liked to hang out with you, bro. Like genuinely, Sicko. Genuinely, he would have liked to hang out with you and drink some beers and eat some horrific abomination of a sandwich. And his birthday was just yesterday.
Suggestion:
He would have been 35.
rest in peace, Copes.
Rest in peace, Cobes.
For just another suggestion, we're bringing up Cobras as well. Sandwich, Wolf Tone, X, Cobes, Sammy. How would you do a Cobra combo for a sandwich? I'm just saying for a
you
stream.
just
It would
gotta
be really
go-
smart.
You just gotta go into the store with
Like, make a
absolutely
po'
no
boy.
plan. Just pick up whatever you like and then just slam it together.
No, man. You have to go
I
with the
recommend
old
right
school
now.
Dagwood.
Dagwich.
The stack sandwich is king.
Yeah. Oh man. Thank you for the ideas, guys, because this could be really fun. I want to make it a
I
fun
mean,
cooking
Nate,
stream.
you're legit like popular right now. Even people that have just joined the farms are learning of your lore, and they want to see more content from you. So you have a bigger audience than me. You are way more popular than I can be. So
I'm
I'm
really
proud of you, Nate.
serious when I say my goal in regards to the Kiwi Farms is getting that null interview, that full null interview where we can discuss how things went down.
Did you see Maddie today?
Nope. Although it actually popped up on
Well,
my dad's YouTube when he was
well,
scrolling through
you're
his stuff.
mentioned in that Maddie episode today at the donation segment.
What? Why?
Yeah.
What do I have to do
Well,
with
someone
null
donated because
anymore?
people want to see you and Noel talk. It was a donation for that. They said they wanted more Wolf Town
Oh.
on Maddie.
Oh, hopefully it wasn't Dave because then I would have like pissed on
It
his
wasn't Dave.
nice. Oh, okay.
Dave is upset with you, so I don't know
Yeah.
how you're gonna mend these bridges.
I don't know, man. The thing is, people might get upset with me sometimes. I might feel like I went about it the wrong way, but at the end of the day, like, a lot of the times I'm right. And what I say, if it's applied, you will end up being a lot
What
happier.
exactly causes the beef between you and Dave? What was the rift?
I saw him complaining a lot in the last couple of weeks, and as I was saying, he's getting more depressed as things are
Like
going on.
in terms of what? What was he complaining about? Just the
Well,
gas prices?
actually, no. Mostly just well, I guess he wasn't super complaining about black people with switches, but immigration, and then especially like millennials and like millennials having main character syndrome and stuff. And I was just like, bro, stop
I
hating
mean,
on
is
your
he
fellow
necessarily wrong?
Americans. Like, yeah, kind of he is, because all these subcultures of, oh, Generation X is just a bunch of leather wearing, spike wielding, like mohawk, like deaf as hell, like drug addicts. Like, no, a lot of people just have homes and families. Like, millennials are just a bunch of man bun, $27 aioli, smash burgers, red brick IPA, just a bunch of man babies watching cartoons all the time, adult cartoons all the time. No, it's a subsection. Just like Zoomers are all broccoli haired, losers who like are little stick boys and can't do anything for themselves. Like, no, that's only a small subsection of the population.
Don't talk about Kerbo. Kerbo has a broccoli boy haircut.
Don't talk shit about Kerbo.
Yeah, I'm just gonna defend Kerbo. Second of all,
No.
those people with
He's right.
mohawks and piercings
Yes, Mohawk?
and dyed hair.
No, wait a minute.
Those
You're
people
mixing
are
Gen
surf
X and
Nazis.
Zoomers.
I know, but what I'm saying is you're mixing. You're talking bad about the surf Nazis. You never seen Surf Nazis Must Die?
No, but I've seen.
I think you would like that movie.
I've seen Alfred. Emily Eustis's Will Stancil show where it had, hey, this guy's a Nazi. Look at his clothes, and it's just a bunch of guys with piercings and mohawks and stuff. I love that shit, bro. That's
you
so
watch
funny.
Will Stancil?
Yes, that shit's so funny. Will Stancil's trolling is so funny. The whole Will Stancil verse is just beautiful. It's beautiful. He's the only man to be ever raped by an AI. Like, come on, man, that's funny. Because technically he wasn't actually, like, So that actually is what makes it funny. It's very hard to do rape jokes correctly. And when we were in this octave of rape jokes after 2024, in between about now, that was the octave of rape jokes.
I don't condone rape jokes.
Oh, no,
rape
me neither.
Jokes to me are weird.
In fact, boycott, divest, and sanction. Boycott, divest, and sanction includes rape jokes. I said that to Dog Zero today. Because it's true. The rape jokes eventually, they came from Israel's supremacy over the last 2 years and how rape happy they are. And you notice it's specifically Zionists who are talking rape jokes all the time and using the term the raped to describe anybody they don't like. They also use the term snark a bunch.
So you're like a Nick Fuentes fan, because Nick Fuentes fans use that term the raped a lot, actually.
Oh, really? No. We were just talking about the
Groupers?
criticisms. Yeah, we were just criticizing Nick Fuentes earlier on in the stream.
Okay, so Nate, another suggestion, because I'm seriously, because you are at the point where you're at right now, you're only going to get more popular. How about you can reach out to like the Groiper King, Nick Fuentes? I would love to hear you two debate about theologics, speaking between Jesus and the Bible and certain verses, because I don't think Nick has like that full-throated like sincerity about
Don't say
being
that.
Christian like you do.
Don't say that about Nick. No,
I
yeah, for
mean,
real.
he could probably full throat it. Let's be real, but still,
No.
he doesn't have that he doesn't have that authenticity you have, Nick. Because when you talk
Phrasing.
about religion, I believe you because it comes from a place of love. You like, I believe when you talk about Jesus Christ, you mean it.
Oh yeah.
When Nick talks about Jesus Christ, he's using that as like a ploy so that he feels better about himself for sucking a dick, like I just explained. But I think you can get a hold of him, and you guys can have a really good debate.
This is something I've already tried to set up, and I think I've already set up. Dog Zero. He's college educated, and he took it seriously, and he really did actually implement like hard line Western culture morality principles into his head, and from that arose like a sort of a moderate Catholicism. I really want to have debates with him to show, and probably like after a long period of time, if we like work together for like a year, I bet you he's gonna deepen in his Catholic faith. Um, and I will learn probably a lot of stuff that he has to impart as well, more into the intellectual realm. Dog Zero, you probably have seen him. He's really perfect at synthesizing. And here's something I've been wanting to talk to you about for a while, Judas. There are some people out there that are way too obsessed with hating the Kiwi Farms, hating Noel, wanting to see him pick through broken glass all day. And I think that's not right.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, I have my
I agree,
criticisms of him.
it's not even that you have your criticisms. It's just as you were saying, some people are just they just hate Noel. If he literally woke up on the left side of the bed, they would fucking crucify him. Just because why not? Fuck it. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And those same people use his site daily, which is really funny to me because they're like, I hate this fucking guy, but his site is so good that you come back like a fucking buck broken loser and you have to use it because it's like you're groveling at this
Some
point.
of us
It's like
can't use this site anymore. So.
Whereas I can actually
Well,
leave the site if I want to. I can just put it down for a couple of
you're
months if I
always
want
welcome to make another proton mail. You got it. Just do what Muttley did. Muttley just got banned again for like the 8th time, and he made another account. He's literally back in the Gen Chat.
to. I love Muttley, man.
Actually, Nick,
I'm not doing.
Muttley has me on X.
Was that Cyclone?
So if you guys ever want to have a Muttley discussion, it could be me, you, Zyklon, and Nate all talking to Muttley. It'd be a really fun experience.
He watches the
Noel
streams
wants
on
me
YouTube.
back. He needs to swallow his pride, unban my account. I'm immediately gonna come back. First thing we'll do is show up on his profile and call him a faggot.
I mean, I'm willing to throw a 20 spot to unban you because it's pretty easy. If they could unban what is his name? What the hell is that dude's name? Trash bag Bin Laden or whatever, you know, the weird
no way.
person.
Don't tell me they unbanned him. Garbage Bin Laden. Don't tell me they unbanned him.
I mean, he's not unbanned, but he just made another account. But
yeah, he's got like 50 songs.
You see what I'm saying? If these people are willing to like eat it out, sometimes either pay for it or just make another one. But I think we can get Zyklon unbanned.
Garbage Bin Laden gets trash. He gets trash because he's awful. Now, Osama Bin Laden on the Kiwi Farms, it gets like winner or Semper Fi. He's one of the best. I don't know why Bargain Bin Laden is that bad, but he's really terrible. He's one of the worst people when I was at the end of my saga. Pardon? Osama? He's great. He's wonderful. He does wonderful posts. He's really, really productive, and he's really, really good at putting posts together. If you actually go to his profile and look at his postings and stuff, you'll find out exactly what I'm talking about. He's actually very useful, very productive. I always keep metrics in my head. Like, it's not, I love the ratio of how many posts you have to how many points you have, and if it's like over 1 to 10, that's a good sign. But that's a lower metric than like, are you helping people? Are you making posts? Are you like a personable person who people like to hang out with? That's what matters way more than the stupid little ratios of the math. Both are important though. That's left brain, right brain theory.
With what you just said about likable people and whatnot, then why again the beef with Dave? Dave is very likable. Osama has problems. He may write a good thread here and there, but he's kind of an asshole, and it makes you very hard to like someone like that who only does things for attention.
Well,
whereas Dave actually did like you, Nate. I don't know. Again,
hold on. Let me finish 1 second. I'll get right to it. But let me finish the thought about Dog Zero. He has perfectly synthesized accurate criticism, which is something that if you want to, like Nola said before, you can learn from intelligent people and stupid people if you're genuinely intelligent. And he has intelligent criticism that, if applied, can genuinely help people. That's what I strive to have. And he does stuff that like effectively boosts the Kiwi Farms and its entire aura on the peripheries of it, as I use the word aura, instead of its direct community or its like actual financial blood. It boosts the aura around the community. It increases it. And he's very intelligent. So when he criticizes something like people getting banned for no reason, people getting swept for stupid reasons, it always lands perfectly. And I think he's still around for that specific reason of that he knows what lines not to cross. Now to Dave, I do love Dave, but at the end of the day, like, I'm more concerned about him kind of turning into, this is gonna sound so weird, my dad, who I love, but his problem, because
In which ways?
my dad's name is Dave, right? So my mom is Irish, right? So can you kind of see how this is coming in the line? You know?
Yeah, I could see that, but that's kind of crazy that you put those
You think,
parallels
but when you
together.
have
That's wild.
years to think about it, you're just like, no, I know this situation better than I think he even knows this situation. He better change his mindset. He needs to become more of a homebody. He needs to become more of a family guy. I swear to God, he needs to become more of a family guy.
Peter
And
Griffin, you want him to be the family guy?
yes, exactly. Then look what Peter Griffin gets. He has a wonderful life. He's very happy. He's successful. He's the center of everything. It's not main character
Peter
syndrome.
Griffin's an alcoholic with a repressed gay child. He hates his daughter, and his fat son is a retard, and his wife is like always making fun of him.
All right. So we're digging more into the American side of things at that point, but ultimately,
I've seen a lot of Family Guy. It's not like The Simpsons where Homer is an alcoholic, but he has like redeemable qualities about himself.
so this is the situation of the orange and the green. Orange is in the Irish flag, in the Irish land. Oranges are Protestants, and greens are Catholics, and the white is the beautiful white of Ireland, and the beautiful ivory Irish. And the orange people, they have a bit of a chip on their shoulder, and they think that their academies are where all the knowledge is. And at the end of the day, they focus a little bit too much on the material world, whereas the greens, they focus on the spiritual matters. They focus on the farms, and they focus on the family. They put it into a better perspective. And I think that in order to prevent the same tension that I've seen in my own family, where my mother's family and my father's family, their extended families, split from each other, from me, and I was never raised with any contact to my extended family outside of my mom, like going way out of her way to visit her family and take care of my grandfather when he was older. That was more damaging than I could ever put into like an hour-long paragraph after thinking about it and writing about it for a week. It was incredibly damaging. And like his mindset is not in line with what he needs to be, which is like he needs to be strong and he needs to start doing stuff immediately, stop complaining about anybody, get that shit out of his mind that he has to complain about anybody else but himself. He needs to focus first and foremost on all of his weaknesses. He needs to get closer to his family, his original family, and figure out exactly how he's going to raise his kid in the future, which isn't going to be by this shitty greenback money system that is collapsing in front of us. And that's one of the reasons why I think he's so upset, because he's thinking about betting on the wrong horse. But I'm trying to tell him, no, man, form, you know, like if you need to piss on the damn ground to generate some nitrogen and ammonia, do it. You know, put some seeds in the ground.
I understand where you're coming from, Nate, but it seems like you have a lot of animosity towards your parents for not having a closer relationship with your extended family. What does that have to do with Dave?
That's actually a religious thing. I don't hold that against my family. I hold that against the particular religious split that caused Protestant Norman mindset, quiver children, where you have 10 children. The first child ends up being the one that gets the home, and the other 9 get shot out into various lands. Well, modern American Protestant system says none of the children stay with the family. Whereas you have Catholic families that have like the grandparents still in the home, the great grandparents still in the home. And that allows for a huge bubble of love around the child. Whereas the Protestants end up with these weird Victorian, you know, you can put the child in a dress if you want, but they're fucked up in the head and scared of their own shadow. And that's a problem. I think that's a Protestant L. Total Protestant L. It's derived from the Normans. And yeah, that's where it comes from, is the Normans shooting off over into England. And that's the English system, and then that is the Scotch-Irish system, and that's the American system. And that's really, really bad. It's good for the economy. It's good for colonialism. But when we hit that certain point where we've explored everything, we've discovered everything, it's time to settle down and have a family. That's what I'll tell. That's what I hope Dave is listening to this. Seriously, this is very important.
So this is about Dave starting a family?
Yeah, I'm not lashing out at Dave just because I want to argue with him. I've been attacking everybody during Lent because I want to attack people's weaknesses.
Why Lent is about finding peace with amongst one another, dude. Jesus literally sacrificed himself. His God gave his begotten son to die for our sins, and you're angry during Lent?
Yeah.
Sounds like you need a hug, mate.
Don't we all?
We do.
Yeah, I'm upset with the sin in the world. I am. I get too angry. Anger is my biggest weakness. If you want to know my biggest weakness, the entire world, it's anger.
Who do you take out this anger on yourself? Because some people, when they're very angry, they like punch a hole in the wall. Are you not doing that? Are you, Nate?
Nope. I'm a very physically peaceful person. My voice and my words.
You're not
online.
beating up your neighbors.
Nope. Mentally, maybe.
Doing any citizen's arrest.
Mentally, maybe I'm beating up my bad neighbors, but not physically. I'm making them feel bad, but at the end of the day,
throw the piss.
That's always an option.
I mean, you told me throwing piss establishes dominance, so.
Not only does it establish dominance, instead of shooting somebody, you throw piss on them, and then they go on to live, and you go on to not be in prison, and then they have a child, and they have a white child, and then the white population increases, as opposed to 2 white people, maybe even 3 white people. Yes, I am.
I recommend the piss Bushido work should be only relegated to the Browns. But that's just me.
I mean, then they'd pull out the Thule, and then I'd be dead. But no, I
think you could get away with it, Nate. You're pretty silly. People like you.
There's a lot of people in this.
Have you seen
in this state that have been violent recently? What 2?
Problem Child 2?
Nope.
Okay, in Problem Child 2, there's a scene in which the main character pisses because it's a lemonade stand. Instead of making lemonade, he pisses in the mason jar. And you can always relegate yourself to that. And then the guy who drinks it will say it's tangy. You should see Problem Child 2.
Yeah, like the whole point.
You should watch more movies, Nate. I think it'll help you calm down a little bit.
Well, the whole point was that, like, if I had taken my anger out in a violent way to this guy who had pushed it and pushed it and pushed it, his friends had pushed it and pushed it and pushed it, his friends had broken my leg, that person ends up getting...
They broke your leg.
Yeah, it's the same group that I was dealing with all that. And then this guy who's a biker...
Is this like a gang?
Yes. Yeah. So it's basically a biker in a gang, and I throw piss on him. Well, he ends up calming down. Afterwards, he calms down, he has a child. That's the world healing, as opposed to the world getting sicker when people are shooting each other. Piss heals.
Piss heals. That's a great way to put it. Actually, that should be on a shirt. Piss heals.
Piss heals.
I think you could sell a lot of those.
That would be Wolf Tone merch. Piss heals.
Yeah, your first shirt should be that. Yes, that'll do gangbusters, man. I'm telling you.
Any thoughts, Cyclone?
Just put a manatee.
Oh, hell yeah. He might be taking a break.
See, I got... Yeah, because we're rambling on about Piss Bushido, but it happens. I'm glad you're streaming. You're live on YouTube right now. I'm impressed. Nate, you got the setup going.
Yeah. We've been streaming for an hour and 20 minutes. It's pretty cool. It's good.
Yeah, I'm glad I can bring some entertainment because you're more popular than me. Again, I'm going to keep reiterating. You are super popular. Nate, you are being clamored up. People love your content.
I was very, very active on the Kiwi Farms. I was posting a bunch. I was in the chat a bunch. You don't seem to be posting a bunch, but I bet you're in the chat a bunch.
I like to think of my posts like gold. Every time I sprinkle pieces of gold here or there, I try to be as funny because I don't want to be one of those accounts. No offense to Welper Helper, I love the guy, but he's everywhere. He has like 20,000 posts. He posts every second in every thread,
I follow him on
and it's
Twitter.
not a bad thing.
He's
It's
Mormon.
really healthy for the community, but I'm a little bit more conceited. I like to be here and there.
Mormons are a big problem, I hate to say. I really don't know what to do with the
Why?
Mormons because they're the militant part of Protestantism that ended up like turning into Islam. I think that's my most poignant criticism of Mormonism because they have multiple wives. So that's the harem thing. And then they
Not all Mormons partake in
polyamory.
polyamorous relationships.
Yeah. Well, not all Muslims partake in polyamorous relationships. In fact, it's pretty rare, but it's still legal in their system, which is a problem. Because Joseph Smith ended up stealing
You're
everybody's
not for
wives and getting
harems?
thrown out of a window. Well, no. Why would I be? Like, because as soon as you normalize the harem, then you normalize like just mass killing men, so that you can have more of a ratio of women to men. So, like, as soon as you start that cycle off, you've already damned like 3 or 4 out of every 5 men to a horrible death. I think that's the Roman
That's an
system.
interesting take.
Yeah, and the Valentinians are the people that say no, people should get married even if the state says that they can't get married until they serve in the army, because what that does is the army is killing a bunch of men so that the men can have like 5 or 6 wives, and what that does over a long period of time, just look at Pakistan, just look at Israel, is that it causes a whole bunch of birth defects.
I'm curious as you say that because there's a 60% women to the 40% of men. There's more. There's like for every one man, there's like 3 women. Women outnumber us.
From the looks of it, it was like 52% women and like 48% men.
I would go 60-40 because there is a lot more women than men. Nonetheless,
But then the
what
men
I'm
turn
going to
into
offer, because I'm
trannies.
going to, can I offer you a suggestion with Welper Helper? I can DM him and ask him,
Sure.
would you like to talk about Mormonism with Nate?
Yes. Yes. Let's do it. I'll get mean. I'll get mean
Okay,
if he
good.
lets me.
Welper's Nate.
He's a nice guy.
I'm gonna as someone who's often bipolar sometimes and gets angry and depressed very quick. You got to learn to show that aggression towards certain people that deserve it. You
Yeah.
can't always be aggressive towards everyone because some people can't take it.
I mean, in public, I'm not, but
That
like, yeah,
I would hope not, because Nate, I've seen pictures of you bloodied and battered. I don't need you like in a hospice because you broke your jaw like Kanye, man.
I'm battle ready. Nobody's gonna break my jaw because almost nobody can knock me out.
You've never been knocked out.
One time. One time. Let me tell you the story. So there's this guy
Oh,
named
go
Big
on.
Tim. He is the guy that bullies the bullies. That's what we've known about him since high school. So very, very cool. He's also very, very down to earth. He's very personable. And he was kind of like a centerpiece of the house that I used to hang out with after high school. And one time we got into an argument, and they locked me out of the house. And I was like banging on the door, and I like insulted him, called him a bitch. Like he opened up the door, popped me on the jaw. Like I took one step in, he popped me on the jaw. That didn't work, so he like cocked back and like put his whole force into haymakering me right in the temple, and it like threw me across the entryway to the house, and I landed in this like plastic rock. I didn't know where I was for a while. I was completely blacked out for a little bit. But that was the only time I've ever been knocked out in my life. I've been punched a bunch. I got an iron jaw, and I think it has something to do with the fact that my natural jaw is like way back here, and then I like jutted out, and I consistently jutted out like I had corrective rubber bands on my braces, but I never had them. I like consistently jut my jaw out. It's a fake thing. So there's lots of muscles there, but when needed, my jaw can like retreat back into my chin. But that's what it is. My button's very small down there. It still exists, and somebody can
As
rock my
as
brain across
someone
the
who's been
hole.
punched in the face a lot, Nate, and I have been punched in the face a lot. I've never been like so like you're very determined to make sure that you don't get knocked out again. I'm like no fight is fair, so I'm always expecting if you're gonna fight, you're gonna get fucked up regardless. But I wish I had the kind of tenacity you do. You're like, yeah, you're not gonna knock me out. My jaw's not glass. That shit is brass.
Yes, yes.
Impressive.
Hey, it is what it is, man. Some people can't fight. Me, my dad was a scrapper. Like, he could fight really well. And so part of that is just...
How is your dad doing?
He's doing much better. Unfortunately, he's got a stomach ache right now, but his foot is healing. So what happened is he broke his leg, and then the pressure of his dead weight leg on the bed actually caused a gigantic blood blister on the very bottom of his foot. And that broke. And it was full. It was good, healthy flesh. I was just like, all right, let's get that wrapped up. And the nurse is just like, no, we can't do that. And I'm like, okay, I guess I'll do that myself. No, you're not allowed to do that. And then she was just like laughing at me while I'm just sitting there like, okay, I'm being very patient. I'm being very calm. And then, you know, I'm there 180 hours in the course of 2 weeks one time. Like, I was there constantly. I lived there. I slept there sometimes. I got to know like half of the people in the facility by the time I left, and ultimately it was medical malpractice that caused gigantic blister and then an infection because they had him walk on his flesh. They had him walk on the dirty floor on his flesh, and it got infected, and it got down into his bone. And then Dr. Sneedowitz, who thinks that you can do whatever to a 3-year-old because he's a Talmudist, he wanted to cut into my dad's leg and like flip around his arteries and put fish skin on it and shit. And like over here, he's saying the same thing for other people for different problems. And so we got into a bit of a fight.
Okay, go.
And I reminded him that Israel's going to be
reiterate that.
destroyed and he's going to have no place to flee. Take that, Dr. Sneedowitz.
Okay, back up. First and foremost, you're saying this Dr. Schneidowitz, is gonna put fish skin onto your father's bottom flesh of his foot.
Yeah, he should be able to find himself some Palestinian skin because he's, you know.
Secondly, did you really tell Dr. Schneidowitz that Israel's getting destroyed and he's not gonna return to his homeland?
Oh, you should have heard the way that I said it too. I got my voice really gruff.
What the fuck, mate?
It's like,
what are you doing?
Yeah, severely injured.
What are you doing? Why would you say that?
You're not going to have any place to run because it's going to be destroyed.
It seems like you have a problem with Israelis, Nate. What is going on?
Why wouldn't I? What Israeli can you even think of that isn't a complete and utter psychopath? Every single one of them. Every single one of them. Every single one of them. Seriously.
They killed Jesus.
No, they didn't. They're not even the same people. They're not even the same people, dude. 98% of those people were wiped out by Hadrian.
The Israelis killed Jesus.
No. Those are Ashkenazim from Germany, and there's some people from Poland, and some people from Hungary, and some people from France, and some people from communist Russia, and some people from London. None of those people are actually Hebrew. None of them. None of them. They're all fake. Every last one of these fakers that are fleeing in droves to Argentina and Thailand and Greece and all other places of the world, our country, coming in here to infect our country with their demonic child-killing mindset. No. These are all like seeds of Satan. These aren't people. They're not humans, because the definition of a human is somebody who inhumes the dead. If you can go out and you can mass kill an entire society, you don't stop to think about them as human. You don't bury them under anything but rubble. Or you can tie children's hands behind their back and bury them alive while they're screaming and crying and being crushed to death and suffocated in darkness. No, absolutely not. Absolutely
let me add
not.
something.
That entire society has to be destroyed. Bye-bye! Bye-bye! It's going to happen.
I like a few Israeli people, though.
I don't care.
Like,
they got to go.
Songs without words. You don't like songs without words.
Nope. If you're Israeli, go fuck yourself.
You don't like Helvetica.
Nope. If you're Israeli, go fuck yourself. Helvetica? You fucking faggot. Go fuck yourself.
Helvetica was a woman.
Go fucking stealing some other person's culture. I bet you're ugly as fuck, bitch.
Helvetica was actually pretty attractive.
Nah.
I don't
No,
get
she's
the hate for
fucking
Israel.
not. If she's fucking Jewish, she is not attractive. She's ugly as fuck.
Okay.
Be a wet nurse.
Allow me.
Take yourself out of the fucking gene pool.
Shapiro?
Nah.
You
fucking
don't like
busted.
Shapiro.
Busted.
Nate, I'm gonna find you a good Jewish woman, because this Jew hate is like
absolutely not.
I don't understand it.
Fucking cut my dick off. No. Fuck that shit.
Don't say that, because somebody might take you up on the penis cutting offer.
No, that's getting a Latina girlfriend.
Yeah, Nate, you be careful, because they might that's like a turn on, causing you physical ailment. Don't say those things out loud.
Honestly, in
Keep
the
that to
last
yourself.
couple of years, I've kind of come around to the whole like maybe a Hispanic girl, but she's got to be like really Celtic. She's got to have that real, actual Celtiberian fire in her. Not this fucking,
Can I
oh,
offer
Dios
you a suggestion?
mío, Dios mío. Like, no, like you gotta
I've
be like,
known many
Dios
Mexican Irish people,
mío.
like many Mexican Irish people. That's like a really common mix.
No, it's
They're out there, Nate.
Ibero-Romance. We are all one H1B supercluster between France, especially Ireland, Wales, Cornwall, and a lot of parts of Spain outside of the Catalonia region. It's all one
Okay,
R1B supercluster. And now
I'm taking notes.
Muttley thinks that there's no such thing as a Celtic person. He thinks it's all German because he's a Catalonian.
I have in my
Random.
notes right now in front of me. Nate does not like the Jewish women, which is weird to me, but okay. He wants a Celtic Latinx woman. I can get you one of those. Those are really common. I
Come
can get you.
on, man. Don't drop your Epstein list. Put that shit in the fire. Just let things work out on their own.
It's
You
not
can't
even
force
an
love.
Epstein list. This is my Nate notes, because you're coming out with a lot. I'm learning a lot about you today. You're very fired up
Yeah, let's get fired up.
with the marijuana.
I mean, let's think about that, right? Because sativa means cultivated. So anything that's a sativa, there are thousands of sativas horticulturally, taxonomically. And cannabis sativa, especially hemp, is super useful for what the people have bred it and cultivated it for, like fiber and oil. Like hemp oil is really, really good for the skin and the hair. Indica comes from India itself. It hasn't had, it's a natural native plant for there, and it hasn't had the psychoactive elements of it bred out of it like over and over and over again, like the Europeans did with hemp. And that's that, you know. It's not just that hemp is a male form, it's a completely different sativa cultivar that grows very, very up, and it doesn't have hardly any THC in it. That should be grown all over the place in America. That was the American like centerpiece crop. The Declaration of Independence is grown on hemp. The ropes and the sails that sailed over here were hemp.
So you're saying America's built off hemp?
It is. America was legitimately built off of hemp.
I'm gonna
That
say
doesn't mean
shout out
everybody
to
should be smoking
Candlejack, 'cause
weed.
I know she's gonna be watching this. Shout out to Candlejack. She
Especially
loves your
smoking.
content.
I think smoking anything is like a very fast track to getting your levels like way off. But it can be used medicinally. In fact, the Chinese have been using cannabis indica root to prevent excessive bleeding after childbirth and save a tremendous amount of lives in its application for thousands of years. 5,000 years, in fact.
Do you support the Chinese?
Oh, yeah. I think the Chinese can be great and
You
have
support
always
the
been.
Chinese, but not the Jews.
Huh? And like this is always
Chinese
this
people
is like the
organ
last
harvest
2,000 years,
children.
bro. This is like the last 2,000 years. I mean, you support the Chinese and not the yes, of course. I want my society to be successful.
I don't know. I can't fully endorse that either, because the Chinese eat dogs and they harvest children's organs. They're pretty crazy people, if you ask me.
That's just projection. That's just some Jewish freak
For
projecting.
projection,
Yeah.
Nate. There's Instagrams where there's literally in like one of the major cities in China where there's like thousands of missing posters of people. It's fucking crazy, and all those people have to got missing because of their organs.
And you have any actual census data to determine whether or not that's real or?
They're on the Chinese TikTok. What is it? I forgot what that app is called. It's like Wuhan, whatever. There is a guy who's an urban explorer, and he happened to just incidentally find one of their body harvesting facilities. He
Yeah,
was live
incidentally
streaming this on
find it.
China.
Right, sure.
His content was literally not like that. They're like haunted house videos, like shit you would see on like a YouTube number 15. Each user goes into a house and he sees a spook, like literally like that. But then this one is like for like surreal. But I'm gonna get me I'm gonna get songs with words, and I'm gonna get someone who's a strong Chinese defender. And we're gonna have like a big discussion because you have really strong ties against Israel. It's crazy to me.
Yeah, I mean, it's not going to exist at the end of the year. You know that, right? You know it's going to be gone by the end of the year,
Probably
right?
not.
Oh, yeah, it is. It probably is going to be sooner than the end of the year. You know that, right? Like, Israel's done. It's completely and utterly done. Because
And you
people,
told
it's the
your
Epstein
dad's
list.
physician this.
Yes, actually, I did, because it's the Epstein list. The Epstein list exposed that during the Iran-Iraq war, the only reason why Israel has been so demonic in the last 40 years is very specifically because it is a pedophile empire. It is where pedophiles go for safe haven. It is where
Did you
pedophiles go to
say
get
this
children.
to Dr. Schwartz?
Dr. Sneedowitz, who says that a 3-year-old
Sneedowitz, yeah, Schwartz.
Dr. Sneedowitz, who
Schwartz
says
is
that
Spaceballs.
Dr. Sneedowitz, who says that you can do whatever to a 3-year-old and that they can heal. A Talmudist freak. Those people belong in stockings in the
In
public
which
square with
context did he
covered
say
in
a
tomatoes.
3-year-old could heal? Heal from what? Like a bullet wound? A burn?
Liposuction.
Like
He said
what?
liposuction. He said nobody can heal from liposuction unless you're under 3 years old. Come to find out, where do you get that from? You get that from the Talmud. The Talmud says you can do whatever to a 3-year-old. You can rape a 3-year-old. That's what they say.
In the Talmud.
Yes. They legitimately say that in the Talmud. That if it's under 3, that like the hymen will grow back. That's what they
I'm gonna ask a question, Nate, and I want you to answer me honestly.
Sure.
Have you ever considered going back to school to be a theologian?
School's not a place for smart people. Now, to be a theologian, you could go into a seminary and you could get
Or
tonsured.
you were
That's worth
suggesting
something.
becoming a Buddhist monk at one point.
Yes, I was very,
Is
very
that-
much into the philosophy of Zen at a certain point, but I actually never really wanted to go to Asia or do anything like that. I was basically already there. I had everything that I needed. I had my tea
'Cause
ceremony.
you're
I had my
really
Zen
like
meditation.
your religious beliefs are strong. Like they are right. You can tell that you're very adamant with your beliefs, and you believe in everything you're saying.
I think it just comes
I'm
from
just saying to
dying. I think my religious beliefs come from the fact that I died and I legitimately saw what happens when to your consciousness when you die, which is
how did you die?
I took like 90 Benadryl. I did that a lot, actually. I did that a couple of times. I did that a bunch, actually. Yeah, no.
Have you met the Benadryl man?
Nope. The Hat Man isn't real. The Hat Man is a tulpa created by the internet.
It's a creepypasta.
He's not real. It's
What
not
the
real.
fuck?
Yep, it's a creepypasta. It's a tulpa. Yep, it's not real. I never saw it. I saw the
It's not
Garden of
real?
Jannah, though, because that's a spiritual thing that lots of independent people came from their own independent, this perfectly ordered, beautiful garden that stretches out into infinity. It's a Muslim concept.
I'm just lost for words.
The Muslims are
You
monotheists.
almost died from eating Benadryls.
The Muslims that believe in God, just like the Jews that believe in Elohim, and actually have a good conceptualization of Elohim and how he differs from the lower Yahweh demon. It's not an angel, it's a demon. Those people are all worshiping the same God. That's a fact. Now, the degree to which they can actually link him up with all of his creation, that's determines on your and I think that's actually the root of high intelligence. Is can you connect certain Aristotle, who said that if you can see patterns across large spectrum, highest degree of genius that can be detected in other people, and to be able to see God connecting all things in an appropriate way and not just oh, God's part of everything, and I'm part of everything. We're all like everything, man. Everything, everywhere, all at once. That's fake. That's surface level. You actually feel it. And then when you really embody it and you're walking in that path, that knowledge, you get golden light behind your head. At a certain point when I was in the Kiwi Farms, when I was at my very, very peak, this golden light is like a lighthouse. It draws other people towards the truth. It also draws a tremendous amount
Okay,
of
allow me to
demons.
interrupt, Nate. Nate, you're at your peak now. You're at your height of your popularity. You're only going to get more popular.
Well,
I
if
wouldn't
I'm
say
on
your
my
peak was
then
back
it's
then.
only downhill
Your
from
peak
here,
is
but
now.
let's enjoy the ride, shall we?
Exactly. Like how he says in Eastbound and Down, Kenny Powers, bro. It's like motherfuckers want to tell us to stop enjoying the show.
But yes, at my peak at Kiwi Farms, I legitimately had that golden light behind my head. There was thousands of people who
you're saying
consciousness
this
I
is
was
past
attached
tense.
to.
Your peak is now.
No. That really was my peak of my life, my entire life. My entire life. That was the peak of my entire life.
No, okay.
Yes, everything has
Let's
been
change
downhill
that
since then.
perspective.
And I
No,
hate to
we're
say
gonna
this to
change that
Justabutt.
perspective.
Justabutt, I know you're just some guy who lives out in the woods who's trying to ground yourself to a manly level of existence, but you accidentally participated in something absolute. Like I was helping.
Okay, what would
I was helping people. I was connected to thousands of people. I had this saintly golden light
what
behind my head. I was trying my hardest to
what
heal and
did
help.
Bud do that was demonic?
It's just a little group that he was part of. And then these, as I was saying,
Which group is this?
like these demons that were attracted out of the aether, they were sent from this place or that place, naturally like narrowed into it, or they spiritually gravitated towards it. Demons will be attracted to you brighter light your light is. They'll try to swarm around you and block out your light, block out everything that you can provide for other people. And this will always happen
What
to people
did
when they
Bud do
shine.
demonic though? Like who was he hanging around with? Was it Miku, the foot lady?
You're actually
Was
kind
it
of
Rommel Butt?
you're actually kind of screwing up his ability to gain a genuine lesson here. So I'd appreciate it if you could drop this point and let's focus on other things. Can we?
What point is this though? Because Bud is like one of your biggest supporters. Bud talks you up constantly. I don't understand this demonic talk towards him.
If you remember the very beginning of this, I'm proud to have him as my rival. I consider him both my friend and my enemy, and I hope that we end up being that same way for a long time.
Pokemon though. Is he like Gary your ass?
No, he's more like the third generation rival then. He wouldn't be like the second. Well, maybe. You never know if he'd be like the second generation rival because that guy had
Gary's
some
the
nuance.
best rival, so that would make Butt the best rival that you have at this point.
Yeah. But seriously, like I was saying that he probably didn't understand that he was part of this. He just wanted to be a man, you know? And I don't think he understood that he actually ended up participating in something very bad. Me too. Me too. And you don't have to attack people and break people down to become a man. Really don't. It never was part of it. It was part of going out there.
He talks you up though, Nate. Like
farming
he
his
legitimately
tomatoes.
talks you up.
Not shooting at the vultures, man. Those guys are your friends. If you scare the vultures away, you're gonna get carrion, and then you'll have carrion diseases. You gotta keep the vultures as your friends. They're your buddies. So don't shoot the vultures, buddy.
I don't know who in context would be a vulture to me, because most of the people I try to keep around me are nice.
Oh no. Let's not put specifics to it because it could end up like violating some law if I actually say this person did this and that. Blah, 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 blah. If Bud is listening to this, he understands what I said previously and what I just said now. And
he watches all your content. He watches all your stuff. So he will definitely. I get. Maybe you're just doing a subtle, like you're doing like Memento. You're gonna unlock memories in his brain that he doesn't even know are there. That's what you're telling me.
Code word Sneed. Kill John.
Have you ever seen Memento?
No, I haven't seen it.
Nate, you should watch more movies. You will like David Lynch's Memento.
I can't sit still for 2 hours. Look at me.
You smoke weed.
No, I don't.
I think if you smoked weed and played, I think you should. You smoke a little bit of marijuana tablets. You watch a movie, maybe play some Pokemon. You'll be really peaceful. You'll be one with the universe, with your feng shui.
Why do you think I smoke weed?
I mean, I think you. I'm not saying that I think you do. I think what I'm saying is you should smoke weed.
Nah, it's okay. I actually do have CBD droplets if I ever need CBD. That's one of the only useful things in the plant because THC has very
You like CBD?
Yes, I do. Well, actually, I don't.
Can you go on why?
Pardon?
Can you go explain why you like CBD?
Because it's calming and it's good for pain relief and it helps you sleep. It's that simple.
Interesting, because usually I've taken CBD before. Because again, I'm from San Francisco. There's a big weed culture here. That shit does not work at all. CBD is like a waste of time. I feel like hipsters sell at like.
You have to get it really strong. You got to get really high doses of CBD for it to work. But it's way better at accomplishing what people want to accomplish for beer, outside of the confidence and a little boost of energy they get while their beer is cycling through their system like it's sugar.
I usually just smoke weed because I don't drink. Because when I drink, I usually puke because I'm a lightweight.
Well, you actually have tummy issues, man. You got like serious tummy issues.
That too.
Yeah, you got to be careful.
Yeah, that's why I don't drink either.
When you were talking about drinking buzz balls, I was just like, oh fuck. I don't want to be a party
It was
pooper,
for Cobes.
but the food dye and that shit, the petroleum food dye is so thick. Yeah, for Cobes.
Hey, I like koi slop.
Well, you got to be careful, man. I'm serious. Things are getting more and more dangerous when it comes to food, and the shit that they're putting in food, like deliberately, the shit that's getting into the food because of lack of regulations.
I'm bulking up like you, Nate. I can't have the peak male physique like you do. I'm getting there. I'm obese.
I like having a good high testosterone level, and ultimately, how you get
Yeah,
that?
that's why the women love your videos because they see you with the peak physique. They see you with your button-down shirt open. They love the hair. They're enamored by you. So congratulations,
That's
Nate.
the hard
You have a
part.
strong female audience.
That's the hardest part is having the Conan physique, is having the long hair and the big muscles, because that means you have a good testosterone and estrogen level, and you have to balance those constantly because they play off of each other all the time. But here's how you get a high testosterone: wake up early in the morning, immediately start doing something, eat like barley, eat high, like really not high yield cereals like cereal or wheat or stuff like that, white bread and stuff like that. Gotta eat like whole grains and oats and stuff like that. Like horses eat oats. You want to be like a horse, eat oats. Like eating horse meat doesn't really get you as fit as oats. That's a fact of life. So a lot of people
Don't eat
poison.
horses.
Yeah, well, steakums are pretty delicious, but people think that if they eat, this is this animist instinct in people that comes from our like African ancestors, that if they eat the heart of a lion, they'll somehow become brave. This is this psychosis that once he became very, very intelligent and then got addicted to benzos because his doctor was evil and then started worshiping Israel because his brain was dead. Jordan Peterson, like, he legitimately thinks that eating meat will make muscles healthier and create testosterone. He's sitting there crying all the fucking time. He's a bitch. And he eats literally nothing but meat. So,
So you're saying
yeah,
eat
testosterone.
vegetables? Yeah, that's what I was getting at.
And not high
The
yield
vegetables
cereals.
allow you not to cry like a bitch.
Yeah.
Interesting. Are you gonna make oats again for your live stream?
I actually do need to make like I can make oats way better than that sloppy mess that I made on the video. It could be way
Then
tastier.
please do, and please commentate and leave the recipe in the description. That would be another. That's just another recommendation.
Because you're also supposed to take those herbs de Provence and you're supposed to boil it with the oats, and then you're supposed to basically skim out most of it, and it leaves a really nice flavor. Put it in at the very end, it tastes like soap. Because there's so many different things and lavender and stuff like that that does taste very strong if it's not baked properly. You gotta bake it properly. I didn't do that recipe right, really.
How often do you cook?
Like, you might not know this, Julius, but my mom was very, very sick at the beginning of this year. She got diagnosed with a form of blood cancer, and I was cooking stuff 3 times a day, sometimes 2 times a day, um, driving everybody everywhere, shopping, taking care of everything, going to the doctor's appointments, out for help for a
Question:
while. Yes.
Who were you shushing on your stream? Because you were cooking in the first stream and you happened to shush someone. Was that you shushing yourself, or
That
what
was
was
me
that?
shushing my mom because she wandered in and she was about to
Why?
wander into the shot to get some coffee, and then she told me
You,
to get her some coffee, and I got her some coffee.
I mean, you put Mama Tone Wolf Tone on stream. I think people would be really happy to see your mother.
She doesn't
The
want
same
to.
way I'm gonna have Mama Moo.
Well, maybe, but I was on a vow of silence at the time, so I couldn't have told her that I started the stream. So I had to go in
What is
there.
a vow of silence, though?
Oh, I
Like, did
spent
you
9
tell
days.
God
I spent 9 days not saying a single
9
word.
days silent?
Yes, for
Why?
Lent. For Lent.
Question: as someone who knows who's fluent in sign language, right? You know it's bad for your vocal box to be silent for 9 days. It's really bad.
My voice was a lot stronger after. In fact, I was more commanding. Every single word that I said after I got off of my vow of silence was like more powerful, but like more concentrated. Instead of babbling and babbling and
Because you
babbling
haven't
and babbling and
spoken
babbling.
in 9 days, so it made it seem like what you're saying now is important
To
when
get
you
back
just
to
haven't spoken, Nate.
to get back to Mama Wolftone, is like she ate the food that I cooked her 3 months and her levels stabilized completely. So if you have
So your
cancer,
cooking saves your mother's blood,
yes.
your white blood cells, essentially.
Well, I actually know there's a man named Dr. Michael Greger. If you have cancer, go to nutritionfacts.org, search cancer, find out that broccoli will block the number 58 gene that causes metastasis, causes cancer to spread throughout the body. Know that blueberries, blackberries, cranberries, sweet potatoes, all sorts of various things that have very specific metrics that fight cancer in this way and that way, and are good for this cancer and that cancer. Have this nutrient and that nutrient, and in a placebo-controlled double-blind study set of these hundreds and hundreds or thousands and thousands of studies, this is what I come up with best for cancer. And he saved his like 90-year-old grandmother who had cancer. So it's Dr. Michael Greger. Dr. Michael Greger. He's just tapping into what God has available for us, which is like you can get your cures outside of the pharmaceutical store, and you can actually get it from the ground. Meaning that even if society were to quote unquote collapse, everything we have and need is right here in front of us if we actually focus on what's important. And that's why I'm trying to tell to Dave, is just like, dude, focus on what's important. Stop fucking spending all your time online complaining
He's
about other
getting
people.
married. Isn't that not important to Dave?
Yeah, why is he so fucking upset?
I mean, he wasn't upset. He was just talking. Dave has like a very dry sense of humor. Like he's like a British man. He makes like snide comments. It's kind of funny. That's why I don't like. It's Dave. He's a tomato.
He
He's
seems like a
devious.
sad sack, okay? And that's
You
a
think
problem.
Dave is a? Have you
Yes.
seen Dave on a ghost stream?
Ghost is a sad sack too.
Ghosts. Dave makes ghosts funny because Dave makes ghosts in his open live stream in his chat makes him say the stupidest shit, and he made him sing "Pumpkins in my pocket." I got pumpkins in my pocket. I got pumpkins. I got pumpkins. I got pumpkins in my pocket. Dave is silly. You can't take him so serious.
That's peak. That's what you call peak.
I love Dave. Yeah, Dave is me and Dave are like brothers. We joined literally around the same time on the Huey farm. Literally
Yeah.
like weeks apart.
I
Not
remember
even
when
like
he
a couple
showed up.
days.
I remember when he showed up with his little mob boss role play. That I couldn't participate in his mob boss role play. Whatever, dude. That's not why I judge
Is
him. I
that why
judge
you
him.
have
No. That's not why I judge him.
I think you and Dave. I need to get you and Dave to mend water under the bridge. I think
Yeah.
you two could be really good friends.
Until he gets his attitude in order, he needs to like get off the internet, like straight up. Like I don't know if it's Ghost or if it's Null, but if he spends all his time listening to people who are like sad about the way that things are going, he's got to be sad about the way that things are going. It's not over. We are so unbelievably back, and now is the time to really
Time
seize
is a
on the
flat circle,
opportunities.
Nate.
No, nothing's flat. Everything's a sphere. And the lies, the sphere of lies that has been crafted for us in the last 200 years or so that caused the world wars is actually cracking. Nobody wants to participate in this bullshit anymore. And the actual people who are responsible have legitimately put themselves into a deep, deep quagmire. Like they're all snatched up in these snares that they themselves set up for other people because nobody wants to hang out with them anymore. And that's the reality. You know, you can either gravitate towards being more productive and have a pure sense of, like, I swear to God, this is the thing about Dave. Dave, if you are listening, please listen up. Our fucking founding fathers in this country would have never sat on their asses and complained because they would have never escaped the evil and the tyranny of the Freemasonic / Talmudic Elizabethan British system that dominated everything and like made up false laws to fuck with people. They were radical libertarians. Our founding fathers were radical libertarians, and they had balls, and they were strong, and they didn't let some fucking criticism of this and criticism of that get them down. They just went out and they did it, and they forged their own way. So if you want to be an American, that's how you have to be. Stop fucking picking on this person and that person, criticizing people who are older than you, who you need to learn from. Idiot. Moron. Stop criticizing millennials. Yeah, they're the fucking main character. They're the main character in your life, bitch. They're the fucking people you need to understudy from, bitch. Get off your fucking ass. You live in a fucking apartment with a bunch of guys. You're fucking miserable situation. You think that's cool? Go back to your parents.
Okay.
Have your parents help them raise your new family with your kid, all right? Because you're not going to be raising a fucking family with a kid with fucking roommates, you fucking dipshit!
Nate, do you have a girlfriend or kids?
No.
Then why are you telling someone else how to maintain their girlfriend and their potential children? Like, come
Why
on.
does that fucking matter, dude? I'm right. That's what matters. What matters is that I'm right.
No,
right?
because
You can nitpick this and that, and that you can add hominem all the
I am
fuck you
gonna
want.
nitpick.
You can add hominem all the fuck you want, but that does not get you to where you want to be. At the end of the day, you can still be the
What
same
I'm trying to
miserable
say
sack
is,
of
Nate,
shit if you make excuses all the time. Like, oh, that person's not perfect. How dare they criticize me? Nah, bitch, get it together. I want your fucking wife to be happy. You piece of shit.
what I'm trying to say is, you can go out and criticize someone else if you're not in their shoes. Like, that's why I don't throw stones.
Otherwise, I'm just gonna fucking take your wife, bro. I'm gonna fucking take your
You're
wife,
gonna
bro.
take his wife?
I'm gonna fucking take your wife, bro. You better get it together, cause I'm gonna fucking get in her pants, bro.
I'm trying to fix this bridge. You're destroying it.
No.
Don't be DSP.
No. There's already charges all over this shit. It's gone. It's blown. I don't give a fuck.
It's again, Dave is like silly and like he's just like a southern guy. He's chill. You have a lot of toxicity, as I would say, towards him. I just don't get it. I just want to just make peace between you two.
He's actually quite nice. I shouldn't be going off on him saying all that shit. Like, really, honestly, I shouldn't be saying all that shit because he is actually quite a nice guy. But at the end of the day, this is exactly what he should be hearing right now because he's not with his father, who would tell him that. If his father was a fucking man, if his father didn't fucking drink
Can I
all
ask
the
you a
time,
question?
I don't know his father, right? But his fucking roommates aren't gonna fucking tell him how to start a family and raise a fucking child. Fucking masturbating ass, dumbass, fucking poor with money, fucking roommates in a fucking communist hovel hotel, fucking.
Okay, let it out. So you're saying, is this because Dave isn't close to his father? I'm not close to my father. Are you gonna yell at me?
Oh no. Saying like you can't. You are in actually a better position to legitimately, like unironically, raise a kid than Dave is, from what
I am not. I would not want to be around a child. I say the stupidest shit possible, and a kid will pick up on this immediately.
No, you would immediately start rising to the occasion. Absolutely, I know you would.
Well, I'm glad you think so, Dave. I'm calling you Dave because Dave's on the line because you've been yelling at him for 20 minutes.
Well, one of the main reasons, and this is the big thing, is that I'll litigate this and litigate this and litigate this. This is the math on the chalkboard. This is history. This is ingrained in our cultures and our behaviors. Protestants straight up shoot their children out of their houses, and their children end up being completely degenerate if the Protestant society is breaking down. Catholics have something that legitimately can colonize the world without destroying it, without being attached to a central node. Even if the Pope is important, it is more autonomous because they focus on multi-generational families. That is what I'm telling. This is the crux of the entire criticism of Dave. Focus on your multi-generational family. You need to stop fucking criticizing the millennials that you need to earn a paycheck from. You need to stop criticizing the boomers that need to help.
Is that what it comes down to? Because Dave said boomers are the main character?
Boomers, millennials, like, I noticed that he doesn't criticize Gen X and Gen Z, which is ultimately the most selfish of the generations. Gen X dedicated their entire existences, or at least it was consecrated to them by culture, to sex, drugs, rock and roll, party, hardy. You know, that's why that's why these retards think that society in the 90s. Society didn't fucking peak in the 90s in any way, shape, or form. Okay? It was just more cartoons.
My mother comes from the summer of love. So she's a summer of love child. I don't care about generationals because that doesn't matter to me. Putting a title on Gen X, Gen Z, that's just bullshit to get people like you mad.
Yeah,
all that matters is that can we come together regardless of age or difference, race, religion, sexuality? Can we all be one, like Jesus said, one. We are one body, we are one spirit, we are one Lord. I'm just saying it. It's okay. It's Lent. I just want you to let out the anger so you can be positive, Dave.
Well,
you have a lot of anger in you.
Let me get into the actual crux of the issue, which is Generation X is the only generation. Millennials, Gen Z, Boomers,
How?
greatest generation.
There's kids being born today That doesn't make any sense.
Let me finish.
Are you saying Gen X is the most important generation?
Let me finish. Generation X is the only generation. There is no millennial, there is no Gen Z, there is no boomer, there is no greatest generation. Those don't actually exist. Generation X was started in 1964. 1964, when the Kennedy assassination was fully consecrated, the Vietnam War was started. We completely moved off of the silver, completely and utterly started dominating the world with the OPEC dollar. Vatican II happened and completely and utterly destroyed the Catholic Church and turned it into a node for money laundering for the Epstein Coalition. And that's exactly where all the pedophilia comes from. And then you have all these wars pop out, from Vietnam to the Iran-Iraq war to Afghanistan, Iraq, all over the place, Syria, Libya, Yemen, Somalia. All these wars were started. The Thousand Points of Light, the Project for a New Generation's the Goldwaterite Pan Am connect the south part of America to the north part of America. The trafficking of cocaine into the country, the trafficking of crack into the inner cities, a la Bill Clinton in Little Rock, Arkansas. All of this boils down to Kennedy getting his head blown off by Jewish assassinations and then pinning it on Lee Harvey Oswald with a 30-06 when he hit the place that he shot from could not possibly have aligned to the various magical, spectral, mystical shadow wizard money gang bullets that were coming up and down. Guy, our country was cooed and taken over. So Generation X was consecrated from the day that they were born into this system. So they have to pretend that generations are a real thing, and they're the ones that are actually in charge. And yes, I should be understudying from Generation X. Yes, I should be getting my paycheck from Generation X, but I don't fucking want it. I don't want anything that these people have to do with because of the specific poison that they have drank their entire life. I talk to Christians who are Generation X, and they're sickly. The only people I've been able to talk with through my entire life is boomers, because they're the only people who have any sense. The only people who actually have real value. And you look in their homes, and you look in their lives, and they have real value. And the Generation X that raised the millennials to have these specific cultural values that only align to what you eat and where you live and how your house is, they create this postmodern, white box, like tear down old rich wood and nice lighting and then put up LED shit. And then their kids end up like degenerate drug addict. That's, this is all a poison. There is no such thing as generations. And the only real generation is Generation X. All the stupid things, FedEx, SpaceX, all the stupid things, the thing we're on right now that are called X, are supposed to make it seem like it's a real thing. But it's not. As you said, none of this shit's real. So thank you for letting me speak. Cyclone, do you have anything to say? I'm just going off.
Yeah, a little bit. I think Judas completely dropped out of the call. He's now a listener.
Well, he let me speak. I appreciate that, Judas. If you want to come back in, just at the
No, I say the whole generation thing is more just labels and the underlying problem. And I don't share your view 100% on it. I do criticize the boomer generation because I see it a lot that they're not passing on things to their kids. And that's the underlying problem. It's just the failure to keep the generational chain going and pass things along is the underlying problem. And the labels of boomer, Gen X, Zoomer, Gen Alpha, millennials is just
almost like a stairs.
Putting a name to an age bracket.
It's almost like they're stairs. Very top, there goes the boomer. Oh, one down on the wealth run, Generation X, and one more down, and then one more down. The Zoomers are being raised with next to nothing, and so of course, like Dave, they feel very content. Generation. But if you ever spent time, you specifically, bro, if you ever spent an excessive amount of time around the boomers, you'll notice that they're just confused about how technology works. They have no idea what the fuck's going on around them.
I mean, I spend time with them, and some of them aren't bad. Like, it's not fair to characterize everybody under one cloth. They're all like this,
but those are the politicians.
I mean, I see it with my own parents. My parents tried to sell me their home, which they now own 4 homes. And they weren't trying to sell it like, oh, here's a discount or below market rate. They wanted to sell it at market rate.
I heard.
And I think I told them, like, I think you're insane. For one, like, it's a little bit late in life for me to start a 30-year mortgage. It's it's kind of getting on the point where I'll be paying a mortgage almost into like my retirement age. So I've kind of missed the boat on that a little bit.
I just
You
like paying
want
stuff
to
with cash.
have
though.
me pay a bank for the rest of my life when you're probably going to be around, what, another 10 years? And I kind of just like basically said, like, if you truly want to help me, and since you own 4 homes, just sign the home over so I can be paying the wealth tax or gift tax now and get set up for later. So it's things like that, and I don't think that they meant it kind of hatefully. It's just they just don't understand how bad things are, and they don't have this concept of I need to help my kids because I recognize how bad things are.
And they're the most
I mean, I
supportive
tried to
generation of Israel too. And Israel is actually like the card holders are the reason why our economy is so screwed.
explain it like this to them the last time I talked to them. Is right now I make the same salary that both my mom and my dad made over a decade ago. The inflation has run rampant. Everything costs more. The housing market has exploded. And I've capped out with as much raise as I can get, and I'm stuck at the same salary they're making a decade ago. My salary is completely unshackled from cost of living raises and the economy. And it's like you have to recognize that is like that's a problem.
Yeah.
And it's part of the reason why I see the problem with immigration as a whole. It's not to blame every single immigrant, but collectively as a wave of people, what they end up doing in kind of like a market balance is they add too much labor to a market with supply demand economics. There's too much supply of labor, the demand has gone down, so the pay went down. Their presence here, period, drives my wages down. Even specifically in a trucking aspect. Trucking is only about 6 million truck drivers. If you even add 300,000 to that number, you completely change the dynamic of it because a load that I would have previously not delivered because it doesn't pay well enough, they'll come in and undercut me and take the load for the lower pay. And especially with some of these guys who are living in the truck, they're Western Unioning or like sending remittances out to their family in their home country. They're not even having to pay rents or a mortgage payment. They're not even having to live on the expenses that an American citizen is making or having to spend. So they're undercutting our industry. They're living like kings, or their family is, back in their home country of Somalia or Ethiopia, wherever they came from. They're decimating my pay rates,
And you know
my
what?
career,
I don't have a
my
problem with
job
them.
field.
I don't have a problem with them living it like kings. I have a problem with us not living like kings too. I have a problem with us all
I
not
would
working
prefer
together
that
to
their
live like
country
kings.
get not pillaged by our country.
Yes.
I recognize that there's a critique there, and I think the left is accurate sometimes in their critiques. But the answer cannot be let them all flood into this country and decimate our labor force.
Well, if you actually look really into the most pro-immigrant people, they're perverts. Perverts that want to have like this rainbow or like actual legitimate orgy with many different races and sexes of different sizes and shapes, smells, and because different races have different smells. And if you're like this weird rainbow that views life as like a collection of one night stands and like has to have extreme novelty constantly to the point where you're absolutely clownish and buffoonish, that's the whole sex with immigrants is lavender scented a billboard. Like that speaks truth to your powers.
So I mean, I essentially see like the getting back to the original topic. I kind of see the like generation aspect as still being a valid point. It's just I think people get too hung up on the labels.
Yeah. And when I was younger, I was just like, screw labels. I was basically like a no labels guy, more of an action
Because I
guy.
mean, you even look at our current government and kind of the people kind of propagating the problems and not fixing anything. It's a lot of boomers, especially like the older people like Trump himself, Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi, people like that. But you also have like some Gen X, which is people like Marco Rubio and those types who they're kind of like holding hands, continuing to drive us farther in debts, devalue our currency, and they're doing it in service of keeping the petrodollar alive, keeping American hegemony alive. And it's like if you had changed tactic and moved into a multipolar world properly, and without this turbulence, we probably would have been better off. You couldn't keep this ship going forever. You knew you couldn't. Like we only had so much steam left in the tank after World War II and Vietnam and the Cold War to keep this kind of like aging, lumbering military going. Even like our most advanced tank, the Abrams tank, is still based off of a tank made in like the 60s or 70s.
No, it's absolute cope to think that we can just launch a bunch of Trident missiles and take out all of Russia. No, we are really, really dilapidated. Our military is rusty. Our tactics are rusty. Our people are weak. Fort Burger King has not taught people the same lessons as charging through trench warfare and bayonets that the Iranian people did 40 years.
So even like the most recent thing with, because that article that came out, I can't remember if it was the Washington Post or the New York Times, where they basically went into the deep dive of the Ukraine war and how the American government or the American military was puppeting the Ukraine war from the beginning. Our generals are working out of a base in Germany, literally directing the Ukraine generals. They weren't even making decisions on their own. We were making decisions for them. Every move Ukraine has made has been at our behest. And this most recent thing of a Ukrainian drone strike on Russian oil infrastructure. This is probably if they wanted to keep the system going, this is probably the dumbest thing they could be doing right now when the Strait of Hormuz is essentially like choked off or somewhat closed to most countries.
Well, the Shabbat Lubavitch will destroy every single country that it goes in. The Shabbat Lubavitch will completely and utterly destroy Argentina down to its constituent atoms. And the Shabbat Lubavitch has already destroyed Israel.
They essentially don't care about the fallout from these decisions, but a lot of people are going to be caught in the turbulence of it.
Have you heard of the concept of heavenly Jerusalem?
I'm familiar with the name. I'm just not familiar with the concept in full detail.
It's apart from Odessa all the way up to like Stalingrad or something like that.
Like Khazarian theory.
Yeah, essentially, it's the old Khazarian theory is bullshit. First and foremost, it's complete and utter bunk. Only actual physical evidence that the Khazars were that the particular tribe of the Kazan hordes ever like hierarchically Jewish instead of letting Jewish lands, maybe adopting a little bit here and there through their syncretic Tengrist faith. The only evidence that there was ever a Jewish settlement on the Don called Khazaria was a Sephardic artist who counterfeit an obelisk. He created it. He put fake stuff on it. And that fake stuff said that Jews owned a river off of Azov. Sorry. Fake. Completely and utterly fake. Khazars aren't real. It's all some masturbatory shit. And like the book about the alien Khazars that like abduct children and rape them that Robert Barr's father wrote. That's a quote closer definition to what actual Khazars are. Alien freaks that abduct children. It's not blood libel. They've done that for the longest period of time, and they do that today. When Jude comes out there and says some shit about like China does this and China does that, I immediately go, no, this is just action. Just Jews trying to point and go, look, they're the ones that are stealing and torturing and eating children. Like, no, dude, we got the Epstein files. We know who this is. Like, it's too late. You cannot put that toothpaste back in the tube, and thank fucking God for people like Thomas Massey. Sorry to interrupt. I can't even remember where we were.
I would like to say one thing, and it's going back to something like way back. You're kind of like back and forth with Judas. The whole like Chinese organ harvesting thing, because I know the thing that people normally say is it's like the Uyghur Muslims.
That's not even happening.
I find
that's a fake. That's lie.
Yes, but on just taking it on face value, claiming it does happen, but then also seeing the recent uproar of anti-Islam hate in the West.
That was funny.
Why do people have such bleeding hearts for the Uyghur Muslims?
Exactly.
But we are fine demonizing Muslims here.
Exactly. And you know what? I saw what happens to the Uyghur Muslims.
So hypocritical and so counter to each other. Like, look, my heart bleeds for the Uyghur Muslims. China's so evil. It's like,
projection.
I hate Muslims here. They're rapists and they murder everybody. It's like, if you're going to have that view, keep it 100. maybe there's a reason why the Chinese wouldn't want the Uyghur Muslims running around the country.
The fact of the matter is, I've seen what happens to the Muslims, and they get sat down in the classroom and educated. They are legitimately educated, not Noel's definition of a re-education camp, murder. Like, that's just the Israeli definition of a re-education camp. And I'm sorry, Judas, like, he completely lost his mind after October 7th. And he bet on the wrong horse. And that is going to screw him over and everybody that's attached to him so much. But I always have love for the... And I hope he manages to figure something.
He gets really excited when y'all both get on a tear. Like, it's hard to get a word in edgewise. So I should just put myself on mute.
But no, seriously, I've seen what happens to the Uyghur Muslims. That's like a legitimate, like, civilization building program that they're giving them. In the Gobi Desert, like, which is a freaking desert, and deserts grow, like, they get bigger and they get more desolate if they're so, like, to green the desert and put solar farms where you can't green it, so that it at least, like, catches the sun and takes that kinetic energy ways to actually reverse the certification process. And you actually have to move into people's land in order to do that. Now, the Palestinians were the most educated part of the Muslim world. All of this is downstream from the Ottoman Empire and its evil and its pedophilia and its Jewish advisors, its scheming viziers, operating the Ottoman Empire to the detriment of all the people in the Ottoman Empire, collapsing into a bunch of different pieces, pieced together by the Sykes-Picot Agreement and stuff like that, various English wars. And all these people ended up suffering because of that downstream. Like, I knew from about 5 to 10 years ago that all the Palestinian people were going to die. There's nothing else for them. Gaza has been, for 14 years, the world's largest open-air prison / weapons testing facility. And it's no secret that the footage that you can go and see when you're buying a weapon in Saudi Arabia, when you're a warlord going to Saudi Arabia to buy weaponry, you go and you watch it being tested out on Gazans in Gaza. That's a fact. I've known that for a long period of time. I know all the Palestinians are going to get tortured to death, and it's better off for them to straight up die quickly as opposed to being tortured, raped, humiliated, chemically tested to death. Like, horrible things happen beyond what the scope of what most people can comprehend if you don't study it, and it will break your mind to study it, but you got to keep going. Israel is so evil. And the story of reality, humanity, that evil does not win in the end. All right? This whole thing about the 80-year curse, it's real. I don't know why. Because a particular culture that's nascent in the Jewish mind, apparently. That 40% of Ashkenazim that are schizophrenic are linked up in some way, whether epigenetically or directly, this particular mindset, which is utterly self-defeating, utterly sick, and like manifests in sickening, destructive shit you could ever possibly see throughout all of history. They have the nerve to criticize this 5,000-year-old empire that's given us chickens, given us cows, and given us trebuchets, and given us all this other technology. And like the Han people that have created a tremendous amount of the technology that we took over to the east, at the west, and we called our own, like Marco Polo and all that shit, with the Mongols and their Shun Empire and their time as dominant. It's so noble compared to the disgusting shit that happens when Christendom breaks down around Jewish societies. I guess Paris and London and the Netherlands and Stockholm and Auschwitz, otherwise known as Auschwitz, which was the center of prostitution in the like. Hitler was a freak, a quarter Jewish, rape baity, who was completely and utterly insane and a pedophile and a drug addict. And we have to address and note that in order to prevent from having our country split in half, maybe down another way, like Protestant Catholic, split in half and then dominated and raped. Like, we're not going to let that happen again. We're not going to let that happen again. These people are going to get what's coming to them. The story is not going to end with the bad guy winning. It's just not going to happen.
Getting back to where I was going more in depth, but I see this also more in the recent conflict with Iran, is when you start drilling people down, like, all right, why are we at war with Iran? They didn't attack us first. They haven't attacked us in decades. People start pulling these examples. They back the separatist groups like Hezbollah and Hamas and this and that. And it's like, all right, so where'd the ISIS and Taliban come from?
Yep.
Where did Hamas come from? I believe if you start digging down to each of those, ISIS and Taliban were created by America.
Hamas and Bibi are very, very close. Always have been.
Yeah, he
The
created
PLO.
Hamas and funded them. Actually, he sold them weapons or gave them to them free. I can't remember. Like, and even like going back to like the color revolution we sparked in 2014 in Ukraine that started this whole divide with Russia. Like, our hands aren't clean, and I find it really irritating that people want to whitewash history and pretend these things don't happen. And we're always the innocent victim coming in to spread democracy. Because, oh my God, these poor oppressed people, like, maybe democracy doesn't work for Iran. Maybe I don't want to build a country for them. Maybe leave them the fuck alone. I don't.
Democracy doesn't work at all. Democracy is a sham. Democracy is a joke. Everybody knows it. Republics don't work. The only thing that actually works is the foundation of society, which is religion.
I was promised by a guy that told me he was going to make America great again, not make Iran great again, or Iraq, or any of these other places. He told me he was going to
Fars
fix my
great
country.
again or Balochistan great again.
Why is he in some random desert place again, doing not what he promised? And how come everybody has an excuse for everything, but when it's time to talk about fixing things here, nobody can make a peep?
Well,
like, everybody wants to remember all the promises Trump has made, but the one promise they never made is, where's our fucking manufacturing? Where's our industry? Where's our infrastructure? Where's anything?
Back in.
These are 2016 promises. These promises are 10 years fucking late.
People understood that Trump wasn't going to do it for them, and that's when they started to knuckle down and do it themselves. Now you have factories all around the country blowing up, right? So the rate at which we're fixing stuff is not keeping up with the rate at which we are being sabotaged from the inside by who? Same suicide bombers that have always sabotaged everything in Western society. But things are fixing themselves, and the metrics actually they show that the amount that we're manufacturing in America, the amount that we're growing here in America, the family-run farms, the cooperations, they're actually getting better, especially since 2020.
Yeah, it's slowly, but it's not the boom it could be. I mean, there's some things like I was really hoping Trump would actually like take a actual stab at companies like Monsanto and their reseeding prohibition.
Yeah, right. That'd have been great.
These are legitimate problems, and only the left ever talks about it. And it's kind of sad because these are real issues that affect farmers.
I wouldn't even say that. What's Maha? You know, who got stabbed in the back by these rabbis like Rabbi Shmuley. What's Maha? It's a bunch of right-wingers who wanted to ban glyphosate, wanted to get the PFAS out of the water, and wanted to increase how healthy people were.
Like, the first thing Trump could have done to, like, really, like, stop a lot of these problems is just gut, like, the patent, copyright, and trademark office. Like, every, like, copyright or patent after a certain date, or before a certain date, just cut it off and say it's open source now.
That actually is, I think like the complexity of the patent office is actually like way above anything that I could like that shit's complex as hell.
I know it's complex, but like there's some things like, and you find out about when you start getting into like niche topics like the breakfast cereal industry and how like Post, General Mills, and Kellogg's all own these patents that each one uses, and they have like agreements between each of them. We won't sue you for infringing our patents. But they use that as a mechanism to gatekeep new competition, so there can never be a new breakfast cereal company.
Yeah, that's monopoly.
It's a niche example, but it's illustrative of the larger problem across the entire American industry. Is the patents and copyrights keep people from entering markets and disrupting them or making startups. So for some things, like if we wanted to, I don't know, if I want to start a factory making 155 millimeter artillery shells, well, Lockheed Martin will probably be knocking my door with a team of lawyers the next day telling me, you can't do that. We own the process on forming these brass casings and these ignition caps, and you can't do that. You can't legally do it. And if you even try, we'll bury you.
Well, here's the fun thing about that.
Bankrupt you and your children for the next 10 generations.
Well, here's the fun thing about that. The way that war has gone 3D printers, and that's just why they're trying to ban 3D printers as quickly as possible. 3D printers can create drones that war will be fought with. The only thing is we need like plastic. And if the Strait of Hormuz is closed, it could mean world peace because nobody's going to have enough plastic to manufacture the drones that can actually like, and then the rest of the
Well, I
army is
think
going to rust to death.
there was a recent thing I saw on the timeline today. South Korea just like stopped export of a product that's used in plastic manufacturing.
Oh yeah, it's coming.
So like there's a lot of things like happening. It's like hitting from all sides. And I just don't think people are realizing like how kind of rippling all these effects are going to be across the entire world economy.
With how Europe has been so utterly destroyed, like people love to make fun of Europe like it's their fault. Like it's our cousin's fault that they're in such a horrible position. But Europe has been destroyed by finance. The OPEC dollar is at the center of this financial order. The OPEC dollar is being denied at the Strait of Hormuz. You can trade in any other currency but the OPEC dollar.
Yeah.
So when Europe, the
They're
user of the
basically
OPEC dollar,
reforming the petro yuan now.
yeah, but when Europe has been destroyed, who's going to stick up for the OPEC dollar? Nobody has the capabilities to. Trump can mock them all they want, but they have already been destroyed by the very people that are calling on them now for this war. It's just like the Kurds. We stabbed the Kurds in the back multiple times, and now we call on them to help with Iran? They're saying, fuck that. Last time we helped you, you gave our locations to ISIS afterwards.
So it's like I've kind of been saying, and I've made a few posts directly pointing this out. The best thing Trump can do is turn inward and start fixing America like he originally promised.
I'd love for him to have his
Start
King David
taking
moment.
all those billions of dollars you keep sending to foreign countries to build stuff over there and invest in other countries.
Trump
Start
still
spending
could
it
be.
domestically.
He could still be the best president of
could.
all time if he does that.
But he needs to stop listening to these snakes that surround him and actually like listen to regular people.
It's just straight up an embarrassment ritual for Lindsey Graham.
That have spent 10 years of their life investing in him and sacrificing to support him at their own personal expense.
And I feel bad for those people. I'm a one-time Trump voter, not a three-time Trump voter. And a lot of those people are losing their minds right now because they don't know what the heck to do about this.
A lot of us are three-time Trump voters.
Shit.
It's kind of a little bit aggravating right now.
I bet.
And yeah. That's why I try to warn some of the people I talk to, because a lot of them are kind of like more like the office people, kind of like the people and kind of like the dissonant rights. They don't have a brush with working class people, and like I'm trying to politely but urgently warn them, like, you need to talk to these people. The blue collar people are upset. They're the ones tearing the Trump stickers off their vehicles right now. They're the ones taking their Trump sign out of their yard finally and putting it in the garbage. They're the ones who are going to flip 2026. And they might do it by just not showing up to vote at all. And that will probably be the worst thing. They're probably not going to do the Fuentes thing of vote Democrat. They're just not going to show up.
Yeah, like what the hell is he telling people to vote for Gavin Newsom when Gavin Newsom wants to conscript everybody? Forcibly conscript everybody to go and die for Israel. That doesn't make any sense.
Where he's coming from, and he's tried to explain it a few times. What he's saying is he wants the defeat to be so crushing for the GOP that they have to retool and refocus. And I think that that's not going to be a strategy that ultimately works. What you need to be doing is, if you want people to just not vote, tell them to vote third party, but also tell your followers to be infiltrating the GOP at every level possible. Get in, and not just on a federal level, get in your local GOP chapter. Get in for your county dog catcher. Get in for your board of water and soil erosion or whatever. Get in any level of government you can.
Hell yeah.
And start advocating and making changes from the ground up, or whatever level you can get in, from the middle down, ground up, top down, wherever you can get.
Now that's the attitude that's going to fix our country right there.
And because honestly, you can't just not show up to vote, because even Fuentes has admitted before, your vote really doesn't matter. It's like a one-time thing, and then you think it's going to carry weight forever. It's a one-time choice, and then you send a politician to DC, and then they're kind of free to do whatever they want.
Yeah, it's a uniparty.
So
It's a uniparty, and like third parties. Yeah, Brian McGinnis, the sergeant that got his arm broken while screaming, "Nobody wants to die for Israel." All that.
And I think you're going to start seeing some populists and people on the left start to rise up. Like I'm starting to see it specifically, like here in Virginia, there's a guy named Mark Moran who's trying to like get on the ballot to run against Mark Warner. And he's a young guy who has like new ideas. He's kind of actually sympathetic to some of like the MAGA talking points about like jobs and economy, but he's still a Democrat at heart. But you're going to see more people like that start to like make swipes at these kind of like establishment characters, and it's going to be from both sides.
What are your thoughts on
You're going
Brandon
to see it from the
Herrera
left and right.
down in Texas? You got any thoughts on him?
I think
Mirage?
he seems like a pretty decent guy.
I think he might be cool.
Personally, I think he'll probably end up being a team player on some things, so he's going to vote on some things that make no sense to people that really like him.
Maybe it's a long-term gambit.
He's acquiescing to Trump, and he won't say anything directly negative about Trump. But I think from watching him on YouTube long enough, even like remembering like way back when he used to show up on Nick Rekieta's channel, he seems like a decent down-to-earth guy with some libertarian beliefs.
Oh. Damn, Nick really did used to be up on it, didn't he? Now he looks like a freaking like. Look, have you
that
seen
was like
him
one of
recently?
the last interviews where he like really like kind of like showed his ass was that episode where he had Brandon Herrera on to talk about some gun legislation, and he's like zonked out of his mind on the stream talking about like picking up like massages by weird women in Minneapolis or St. Paul, Minnesota, or whatever.
Yeah, I actually think I remember.
I can't remember exactly what he said on that stream, but like I remember like Brandon Herrera was like really like giving him like this side eye, like why am I here?
The Elmo look.
What happened to the base lawyer I used to like appear on this channel with, and he never showed up again.
Yeah, but apparently that was who Nick was wanting to be. Find himself towards it. It all started with him doing a little bit of Molly, right? So maybe it started with shrooms here or there, but then he got comfortable with Molly. MDMA, then he's just like, ooh, I like stimulants. That's what he said. He's like, oh, he's into stimulants now. Uh-oh. That's what ruined Clav. Clavicular could have been a really, really successful young man who could have had a long future in front of him. Instead, he got on amphetamine. Good.
So I think a lot of these people like Paul Dans, South Carolina, running against Lindsey Graham, James Fishback running against Byron Donalds to take the governorship in Florida,
Aaron
Brandon
Baker,
Herrera, just won.
Aaron Baker running against Randy Fine. Aaron Baker. Please help him if you can. If you're Floridian, anybody who's listening, please try to get Aaron Baker on the ballot. He needs to get more signatures.
I think if anybody is kind of despairing about the current state of things and kind of blackpilling, focus on those races and stop focusing on Trump. Not to say like don't pay attention to what's going on, but focus on something you could actually contribute to now, even if it's just putting $20 in somebody like James Fishback's campaign. Listen to what the politicians who are coming up who are disrupting are actually saying, and find people, even like what Null's been talking about, Casey Putch in Ohio.
That's an interesting Freudian slip because Null loves to copy Trump's mannerisms.
He loves to copy Trump. Can't do the affectation like I can. He's just not good at it, folks. Just not good.
They're not after you.
Like
They're not after me. They're after you. I'm just in the way.
Nah, be focusing on those as much as you can, and just kind of keep a level head about you.
But you were about to say something about Casey Push, right?
Yeah, if you can, throw $20 in his campaign.
Oh,
doesn't have to be much, but collectively, everybody can disrupt these things, and don't go with who Trump's endorsing, because Trump is ultimately endorsing neocons and people who are going to keep dragging us down this road.
You know the history of the neoconservative movement?
Yeah, it's a bunch of Jewish people who broke off from the Democrat Party because the Democrats weren't giving them exactly what they wanted.
In the 90s in Brooklyn.
So
Actually,
clammed on to the Republican Party.
Actually, it's
get
not
what
fair.
they wanted, which is of course the Middle East.
It's not fair to call them Jewish. Actually, communists. They were
Some of them were Jewish. There were some.
A lot of them were.
Kind of like Anglo-Americans, but
they were all
the
communists.
majority of them were Jewish.
The vast majority of them were communists. Here's an old joke. What do you call 99 Jews and 1 Russian?
The Bolsheviks?
The Soviets. What do you call 99 Russians and 1 Jew? The Red Army. I got that backwards. You're supposed to do the Red Army first and then the Soviet afterwards. But that's the point. It's just like the ones that were sent off to die were the native Russians. The ones that stayed in this public democracy system up at the very top. Literally like a foreign culture that had killed Tsar Nicholas in a ritualistic murder of his entire family in that basement. Yakov Svetslov almost became the Stalin, and he wanted to murder every Christian in. He was one of the very people responsible for the Cossack genocide, and the Holodomor actually was kind of a Cossack genocide part.
So like, kind of like my thoughts on it. I specifically kind of like being burned by like a lot of the people who were from alt-right 1.0 and supporting them like led to just them being like lushes and drunks that stab their audience in the back. I tend to dissuade anybody from just donating money sight unseen to people. I think some of the money I've sent Null is kind of like a discredit to my own reputation having sent him that money in the first place.
It's gonna go into the servers, bro, and people are gonna have fun from the servers. I don't regret $1 spent to Null. In fact, the merchandise I bought from Null has given me a lot of joy, and it was very well made, and it's probably worth a lot of money. About it. It's really not. He's really not that bad.
Advocate specifically, like if you're going to give money to anybody, make sure you're doing it for a product in exchange. Get something for the money you're giving. Don't give it 100% sight unseen.
Unless the person is like a really, really good artist and they need some like patronage money, and the art that they are providing is them a lot of money, but it's providing a lot of joy from everybody in society. That's called patronage. Now, funding a transgender person moving, which parents telling them themselves and shove dildos up their ass, that is not a proper patronage system.
So even if like you have reservations about giving money to like a Casey Putch, buy a T-shirt from the store or something.
No. I mean, I don't.
If you want a product in return, buy one of these like T-shirts that it costs like $10 or like less to make. They're selling it for like $26 or $30 or whatever.
It's more valuable to have people like Casey Push and James Fishback in the governor's mansion as opposed to having that extra $20, $50, $100. Really, genuinely is. It pays dividends. Let's try and help them, because society gets just a little bit better. And when you give money to good people, it does go into other good people's pockets because they're friends with good people. That stimulates a good part of the government, a good part of the country that we need to make into the government that can then trickle down own country, own manufacturing. We should be manufacturing stuff cleanly and efficiently, and it should be built to last, and it should go into American hands, and the profit should be going into American hands too.
I mean, if the federal government worked how it was supposed to, there was never supposed to be an amendment after Amendment 10. Because Amendment 10 ends the original Bill of Rights, basically saying all powers not delegated to the federal government are beholden to the states. The focus on politics, as the founding fathers originally intended it, before we kind of like monkeyed with it, was the federal government would kind of like handle the military and like foreign trade, and that's about it. And DC actually wouldn't be that many people in it, and it would be mostly the states, and that would be the focus of most people, where their lives are more directly affected. Like, I don't even think we should have an FBI or CIA. It should be like every state should have their own version of an FBI or CIA. Because
not a CIA,
we shouldn't have so much power invested into a federal government.
Because the CIA is specifically like our government fucking with other people's governments. CIA, MI6, Mossad, KGB, those are all formed around the same time or with the same mindset. they ended up doing is becoming the main, like, secret army slash secret help the Epstein shit grow. Have you ever heard of Operation Gladio?
I've not heard of that one.
It's a oh my goodness, I'm gonna send you a audiobook. It's a big one, so whatever you can get to in it. Operation Gladio was the CIA operation to take over. Actually, no, it was to stay behind armies that would prevent communism from taking over Italy. But what it actually ended up doing was taking over Vatican. That's exactly when the Vatican ended up turning into a money laundering slash child sex trafficking operation. It's because John Paul I was literally murdered after 33 days with blood pressure medication. And the 33 number is very important. Freemasons' favorite number, but in truth, like, Freemasons push it. Freemasons and Zionists, they're not intelligent enough to know when not to push it. Now, Kissinger, who you could barely even call Kissinger a Zionist, he's absolutely. He knew exactly where to stop and where to go. Like, the fact of the matter is, we're not being controlled by people like Kissinger anymore, and that's an amazing boon in our court. We are being controlled by people like Laura Loomer and Randy Fine, and that means we're gonna fucking lose a million times over. They're the ones actually gonna be humiliated, not us. They try to push too hard. They try to humiliate us too much, and it's just gonna end up like backsplashing on the blowback.
I mean, for any criticism you can level at Henry Kissinger, he was a cut above of what we have now.
I mean, he
And
killed
I
millions
think
of people.
America is, yes, but he was a consummate diplomat who was capable of negotiating with foreign countries.
Absolutely.
And that's the one thing I think Trump lacks completely. Like, why is some nobody like Jared Kushner and Steve Witkoff even in these countries negotiating at all? None of these people are negotiators. Steve Witkoff is some real estate magnate like Trump, and Jared Kushner's really some nobody that married Trump's daughter.
He bought 666 New York Avenue right before the 2008 subprime mortgage crisis. Bubble popped, and he lost $2 billion. Trump dragged him to the Middle East and said, who's going to bail out my idiot fail son? That it was actually Qatar at first, and it was Saudi Arabia afterward.
America has no diplomatic team, and I've heard it said by some kind of like close friends that diplomacy is important, and wars are the result of a failure to engage in diplomacy.
But it seems like nowadays it's like wars are almost a deliberate result of diplomacy, like between the MI6, between the MI5, between Mossad, between CIA, between the FBI.
Well,
various Latin
You're
American
doing ridiculous things like what Trump's been doing recently, where you send diplomats to talk to like the Iranian like consulates, and then you bomb them after you talk to them.
See, Trump got used to this when he killed Qasem Soleimani on the way back from a peace mission.
Yeah.
Not legally allowed to do that. But then Betar comes online and says, "Oh, international law is dead." Well, right now Betar is saying that, "Oh, international law violated in Tel Aviv, Iran." Who cares, dude? Who cares?
Well, it's
Live by the
putting
sword,
us in
die
a
by the
position
sword.
where
How they ching?
foreign countries don't want to talk to us, and they don't want to negotiate with us anymore because they know you can't trust Americans in a negotiation because they might try to assassinate you and then lie about it. And Trump will even say like crazy things like, maybe the Iranians bought a Tomahawk missile and dropped it on their own girls' school. It's like nobody else owns Tomahawk missiles except for us and our close allies.
Yep.
And Ukraine for some reason.
Gigantic by Russia, basically. Yeah.
It's just we don't have diplomats. We're not engaging in negotiations, and the way that we kind of like counter that or like try to like get around it is you have like people like JD Vance running out there like, we don't even know who runs Iran. Like, he won't even show his face. And it's like,
shucks, they got some nuclear powered suicide vest up in there. They can go into a mall and go boom. Yeah, we're gonna buy that, JD.
It's just amateur hour.
Yeah.
And it's not saying I could do it better. It's just that these people
I could do it better.
Fucking things up for
I
us.
could do it better. I wouldn't want to, though. That's the thing is, like, you notice that the White House propaganda got really, really shitty after the war. Like, after they were sure that the war was not going the way that they thought it was. Propaganda coming out of the White House got really shitty. It's because
What
people
can you
quit.
say? What can you say to the current circumstances? And even like I think it was I can't remember the Democrat's name, but he said it on the House floor. Like we're essentially in a worse position, and we're trying to get back to where we were. Why didn't we do this in the first place?
Want to
We
know
could
something
have just
funny?
not done this.
Want to know something freaking funny as hell? There were 4 Avenger-class minesweeper ships in the Strait of Hormuz in 2024. Trump decommissioned all of them.
I think they're sitting off the coast of South Korea or Seoul right now.
I heard they got decommissioned. I don't know what that means. I think that means that they legitimately like sold it for scrap. But maybe they're sitting off the coast of Seoul.
We kept one as nearby. Strait of Hormuz is not in it. The other 3 we had to limp to like the South Asian Sea because I think we were trying to pivot for that conflict, but I really think that Trump miscalculated and thought that he could just assassinate the Ayatollah. The whole country would just like fawn and capitulate, kind of like what Venezuela did, and just do whatever they're told.
I was about to say,
and
that's a
everything would
long
be
time
great.
in the making.
And even like the recent thing I commented on, that like finance a lot guy, he had this prediction of like 2023 as to like this chain of events that America is going to engage in, with China being the last one. And it's basically Russia, Iran, China, and he posted this in 2023. But the one prediction that didn't come true in his list of things was America would re-energize its manufacturing and sell weapons to the world, and they would rebound from the crisis quicker than anybody else. Well, they didn't fix the manufacturing problem, so that's like the linchpin that never worked out. We're essentially going to enter this kind of like period of like global strife and conflict, and we didn't do the one thing we would need to do to like weather the storm properly.
The secret. It's already been constant global conflict. World War III already happened. It already happened. It's been happening for decades. It's the constant war on the third world. See, the first world was the capitalist world. The second world was the communist world. And as the capitalist and communist system rose up out of the traditional system that the world had become accustomed to for so many millennia, they created modernity as the main focal point by which everything rotates around. And what that did was the third world unaligned countries ended up being crushed underneath the tread of modernity and either being sacrificed to capitalism or communism. But at the end of the day, like, that is the real World War III. And it like came to a complete and utter head. It wasn't a Cold War. Constant assassinations, Nicaragua Contra, Middle Eastern stuff, also the Iran-Iraq war. That's not a Cold War. It's not a Cold War. But then Afghanistan, Syria, and then Somalia, and then Yemen, and then Iraq, and Libya, and all this stuff. World War III has already been happening. There's already been massive conflict. I am so happy that the American empire is contracting. That's what I voted for. Because there will be less bloodshed and death. And we Americans will be able to take care of ourselves because we have guns.
It kind of goes to something I've read before. I can't remember the name of it, but it was I believe, late 80s and early 90s, like publication on like America's like greatest weapon is this culture, and we export our culture to foreign countries and undermine them via that way.
Yeah.
We make their culture evolve around McDonald's and American like music and blue jeans and rock and roll.
Hey, I love blue jeans. I need to get myself some jeans. I can't fit it in any of my old jeans. My hips, my literal bones in my hips are too big for them.
And I don't think the terminology held up to the kind of flow of time and the way things have changed, but it's kind of weird that when people like start digging through like the latest or like the past Congress omnibus bills, especially even in the era of Trump, there's always these inclusions like we're sending $25 billion to Pakistan for gender studies.
Yeah. And God bless Elon Musk for trying to put an end. Although I was really
like,
pissed off when he tried to touch my parents' Social Security. That's their pension fund. They paid into that shit. You're not going to rob them for their fucking pension fund.
Even like the criticism that it still gets leveled at Charlie to a certain extent. I'll never let it like 100% go away. And Trump made a big deal about this too in his first term, about that they specifically tried to pressure the country of Botswana to decriminalize homosexuality.
That's right. To my last breath,
And
I
it
will
was,
fight for homosexuality in Uganda. That meme really
and
does.
it's weird, like when Trump, like his recent thing he did like a few days ago, where he's like, you know, that Khomeini's son, he might be gay. I don't know. And it's like, what is this? Like, you see the bomb countries are like
meanwhile, he's
threatening to take
dancing.
away their funding
He's
to make
dancing to
them
the
homosexual.
YMCA. He's jacking off 2 dicks next to himself. He's got Lindsey Graham right behind him. He's dancing to YMCA. He's just like, the Muslim leader is gay.
I'm trying to understand, like, is he the anti-woke president? Is he the woke president? Where's the American culture stand now?
That's exactly what
Why
they say about
isn't
woke. It's that
100% put
yes,
away?
yes, woke means both of those things now. That's exactly the problem. Is that MAGA only means a specific thing, but woke means everything. That's the contraction of it. Woke is everything that MAGA is not, and MAGA is a shrinking little kernel. That's the thing.
It's like I saw like today, like somebody shared a picture from CPAC and Lady MAGA is still there.
No way!
CPAC. It's just, it's like it never seems to go away. We're still gonna get the LGBTQ for Trump like signs that he's gonna sell in his store if he tries to run for a third term, or we'll get it for JD Vance's campaign when he starts it up.
It's the most LGBTQIAP2S country in the Middle East, and honestly, it's one of the most LGBTQIAPISP LMNOZ country in the world. And they create more estrogen, more pink little pills that go on the black market and end up in children's hands. Israel creates more of that than anybody else. I can't believe actually consecrated his website to Israel. I cannot believe he did that. All that work, all that hard work. We all did.
That seriously, or was it like a joke?
No, he seriously did that. He seriously. And if you want to find something really, really funny to get on a little bit less serious topic, I really do hope he turns. You hope anybody turns. That's a Christian principle. You always give somebody the opportunity to turn. If you're a Christian and you feel like they could turn to Christ, you give them the opportunity to turn. Like every Israeli could stop being an Israeli and just be an American and chill. But the thing funny about Null is like people have been digging up his old writings from. And if people dug up my writings from when I was that age, like it would be probably just as embarrassing for me. But this is some funny shit, man. This guy says he cried at the last episode of Lucky Star. Like this guy's making like poetry and like fantasies about like having a child in Japan and having the mother die and being an only father, and man, so this is he's got some interesting writing out there.
Wasn't he also criticizing PewDiePie like a couple years ago by moving to Japan? Like,
I like PewDiePie.
That's the one thing about Null, man, is he says like things out of both sides of his mouth. He says one thing, he does another. Then like a couple years later, he's totally flipped the script, and now he's saying the thing he was not saying previously and doing the opposite.
It's gonna fuck up his reputation, man, and his ability to form connections with people who are trustworthy and strong.
He doesn't seem to have like a coherent like ideology or like focus in his life that other than the Kiwi Farms. It's the only thing it seems like be his only North Star is operating a forum in an age where forums are, I think they're slowly coming back, but they've been out of vogue for decades.
Well, what he's been doing recently is he's actually been pivoting more to real life, which is good. And he's been letting his community become more autonomous, which is good. And when that happens, and the natural Kiwi Farms community is allowed to just be itself, not have random sweepings, piss everybody off, and really do set a bad tone to the website, it's going to bounce back, and it'll be fine. And he'll have his money, and, like, you know, Israel will be gone, and, like, everything will be fine. But, like, things would have been a lot better if he not taken 30 drams of silver, you know. Because apparently, you know the red heifer sacrifice?
Mm-hmm.
Apparently the high priest, and this is an old thing, pays 30 shekels of silver for the red heifer to be sacrificed and have their ashes, sprinkled on specific, things as a very, very highest ritual thing in the Jewish faith. The 30 thing of silver that Jesus, like it's
Yeah.
like all the prophecies were fulfilled in Jesus. Actually,
The
not
Judas
only in
was
the
paid for delivering Jesus to the Sadducees and Pharisees.
Sadducees, Pharisees. Some are even saying scribes. I like the scribes though. Look at those Pharisees.
And that
Look at
was
them, they're
like
mad.
a weird bit of irony, like when the whole like revelation came out that Israel was paying like influencers $7,000.
A lot of those checks bounced.
And the conversion rate for silver at the time, like 30 pieces of silver basically was $7,000. So they're basically paying people 30 pieces of silver to sell their soul.
You know what happened? Judas Iscariot actually took those 30 shekels of silver and like threw them. They wouldn't return. He says like, take them back. I don't want it. Like, oh, we don't want it, man. It's yours. Like, threw it at the temple and ran out and hung himself.
Didn't he also? I thought he took it and he purchased the plot of land that he ultimately like disavowed himself on.
Oh, well, there's many different interpretations of that particular story, but from what I remember, and I've actually listened to this recently, he tried to throw the silver down, wasn't accepted. Of course, naturally, none of the sacrifices were accepted at the second temple afterward. Did you know the Knights Templar are literally called the Knights Templar of the Temple of Solomon? And their entire thing, and Columbus's entire thing, was about finding enough gold, enough bullion to rebuild the third temple. Yeah, bro. Columbites, and this is gonna be the last it's gonna be the last domino to fall. It's gonna be the hardest one. It's not gonna fall on its own. It's not gonna fall because the other dominoes fell behind it. Is going to actually be the Nick Fuentes Freemasons, even though I can't really make the definitions around him. But what I know is there's a lot of people who are super pro Columbus and super pro, and like that's not an anti-American thing. What I'm saying is they're defining Catholicism within Freemasonic terms. That's going to be the last enemy to deal with. Protestants have already recovered. There's still going to be horrible, horrible Catholics that want. That's what I say about the El Salvadorans that are joining ICE. This is going to be a really, really big problem in the future. And like ICE is going to reveal itself to everybody. I'm just giving you the information soon. As the president's personal army, which operates as a Gestapo and a Gulag, and DHS, which operates as a secret police. It's always been this, but they've always kept it on. Trump is exposing this. I have to tell people this. It's going to be the same under President Gavin Newsom, President AOC. Maybe she's not going to be as evil with the ICE, but I don't know. Maybe somebody else comes in afterwards that's extra. I don't know, man. People always say, oh, what if a Democrat does the things that the Republicans do? It's just like, they're one uniparty. They work together. Well, they're two wings on the same bird. Ice Cube said.
Well, I mean, that's what I'm ultimately afraid of with J.D. Vance is he's not going to really like be the based Appalachian warlord that's going to fix the country. He's going to do the same thing Trump did.
I was really hoping that he could be a good, Scotch-Irish.
I just think that he might be, given kind of the recent things, he's quite not. But
No, he's
he
not.
might have been the more articulate version that would put a better spin on things. But recently, with the whole suicide nuclear vest, it kind of threw that hope.
Yeah, he's been hanging around with like Shabbat Lubavitchis a lot recently. I'm telling you, man, those guys they're really love humiliating people and making them self-destruct, and then like looting the societies that self-destruct around them. That seems to be the Shabbat Lubavitch's entire like petty scheme. They're very petty. They're not nearly as powerful as I think they are. Otherwise, Heavenly Jerusalem, which is the southern part of Ukraine, would not be owned by Russia right now. People are trying to say, oh, actually, technically Putin, and this is all a gigantic Slavic sacrifice. No, actually, Ukraine would have formed it, and it would have been bioweapons, and it would have been nukes, and it would have been all sorts of horrible things coming out of that area and being launched onto their neighbors, especially their neighbors to the south, like Turkey. The fact that the watermelon seller in Istanbul is letting all this shit happen letting Iran fight all the battles that ultimately will save the Turkish people. It just goes to show that the Ottomans and Ataturk and all those roaches are scum. Scum. Their ancestors would eat them to a bloody pulp if they saw how scummy and dishonorable modern Turks are.
I mean, they overthrew Constantinople and then turned it into like Istanbul.
And
what more can you say than that?
and Ataturk didn't turn the Hagia Sophia into a mosque, but fucking Erdogan did. Erdogan disrespected the way that the Muslims had been custodians of the Hagia Sophia. He disrespected it because he's a piece of shit. Just like Israel locked down the Church of the Holy Sepulchre for the first time ever, when the Muslim caretakers of it, the custodians of it, had never failed to open the doors for the 1,000 years they were custodians of it. The IDF and people like Erdogan are such dishonorable, disgusting pieces of shit that they can't even do the things that are easy, that have been done for hundreds of years. They have to do the humiliation ritual. They have to overstep their bounds. Exactly why it's just like, no, evil all around the world is going to be liquidated. It's going to be liquidated. I bet you by 2033, the world is going to be peaceful. I bet you.
But even when I'm trying to be like as generous to Trump as I can be, my biggest criticism, and is what I tell like a lot of the people I talk to, is Trump just does not have good messaging. His biggest problem, especially like you see it just blatantly on his sleeve, this entire Iran war, is he can't message properly in a way that sells this to the general public. And
Fucking
he contradicts
Hegseth,
himself
man.
on a day-to-day, sometimes in the same day basis.
Well, he's manipulating the markets. You see him fucking around with the markets all the time, to the point where the markets have literally become numb to it.
This conflict started off as Iran can't have nukes, and then everybody's pointing at, well, see, Trump said this in 2014. He said this in 2018. Like, yeah, that was a point, but then Marco Rubio comes out the very next day and says, no, this is about their short-range missile capabilities.
Marco's been trying to steer. He's smart. He would have steered things in the right direction, but thankfully,
And
he's
then
not the one in
JD
charge.
Vance comes out, I think, either the same day or the following day, and says, no, this is about something else. And it's like, and then it was like, well, they're oppressing their people. It's
Yeah,
about,
we need to rebuild the women's school so that the women can go to school because we blew it up.
and it's been this constant drumbeat for, was it almost 4 weeks straight now, of every day it's a new thing. And some people try to claim, well, this is Trump's marketing strategy. He's throwing it out and seeing what sticks. It's like, you can't do marketing strategy with this. We need a commander in chief who has a narrative that is direct, is believable, that is sold to the American people, that is in their interest for this. This is how it's directly helping us. This is how they would have harmed us. And he doesn't have that at all. He's literally all over the place.
Rubio's like, yeah, Israel told us to do it. And then later they're just like, well, Israel was probably gonna hit them and they were probably gonna respond, so we had to help them. Basically, the entire thing has been exposed first and foremost by Marco Rubio, who's trying his hardest to keep things in line. His ultimate North Star is Cuba. Is from a young age he's wanted to regime change Cuba. Like if Marco Rubio was the only one handling regime change of Cuba, maybe it would go well, but he's not. So regardless,
No, we'll regime change Cuba, and you can quote me on this in the future. A decade from now, you'll see a line item in an omnibus spending bill for funding gender studies in Cuba to the tune of $20 billion.
I mean, it's going to happen in Venezuela the next couple of omnibuses, probably.
And you'll see it on the New York Times, the first transgender surgery in Cuba. We'll ruin that country's culture completely. We'll decimate those people, deracinate them.
That's what they want to do the
entire.
entire.
Such thing as Cuban pride anymore when we're done with them.
That's what they want to do the entire. Well, there'll be Cuban pride. There'll be a lot of Cuban pride marching down the streets.
We'll have done this all in the name of quote unquote reopening trade, and it's in our interests. But it's like we could have reopened trade with them at any point in time if we just were willing to trade with the Castro family.
I mean, Obama normalized trade with Cuba.
Yeah, we could have done this before. We just don't like who's in charge, and we want to overthrow them and do it. Maybe
Well,
you
it is.
don't have to overthrow everybody, so you can have trade with them. I don't know.
Well, it's getting a little late, bro. So did you wanna wrap it up here?
Yeah, we can wrap it up here.
This was a great stream. This was a lot of fun. Too bad Dave didn't get
All
to
right.
come on. I would have loved to actually give that energy to Dave in a debate, but unfortunately he's playing the Ben Shapiro card and being a bitch.
You went a little bit hard in the paint, but I seriously
Yeah.
would advise make up with Dave.
He's not gonna make up with nobody. He's gonna be a boring, sad sack until he gets it together.
Dave, if you can hear me, look, make up with Wolftone. He's a good guy. He means well.
Dave knows
Even
that.
if he
He's
said
just
some harsh things, just brush it off and make up with him.
We'll see. We'll see. Dave and I will probably be great friends in the
We
future.
need our tomates back. Bring back the tomates.
Long live the tomat. All right, guys. Thanks for coming along, Judas. It was great talking with you. This is one of the nicest streams that we've had. Specifically, I said earlier that, you're getting better at streaming, and that's awesome. Love you, man. Nice talking to you, Cyclone, as always. Have a good night.
You too.